Not Antonio Brown. I think what he says, he means and he backs up. Now, another red flag for me was when he left Pittsburgh, when he threw Big Ben underneath the bus, and then when he threw Smith-Schuster underneath the bus, and he had some, really some just pretty harsh things to say about his former teammate. These are all red flags. And then you have a guy like Mike Mayock, who it's his first year as a GM right now for the Raiders, that I guess you want to take a chance and see, we can bring Antonio Brown here. And from all accounts that I've been reading, I guess Mike Mayock's kind of a hothead as well. I think he's a very proud individual. But you have to understand, man, this isn't like working the combine and just seeing guys in their underwear run around, you give them grades. No, like you're in the people business now. And you need to understand how you can cultivate and how you can understand AP and get down to AB and get down to his level. Because if you don't, then you're going to lose them. But you also trade away Amari Cooper. So it's not looking good right now for the Raiders if you lose Antonio Brown.
Well, you think about some of the moves they've made to get rid of Cooper, get rid of Mack, and bring in a guy like this, just in those three moves from maybe a professionalism standpoint, an on-the-field standpoint, a distraction standpoint. There are a lot of questions to be raised. And I think there had to be a pressure to win. See, Mayock and Gruden, Gruden's under a 10-year deal. Mm-hmm. And they took a lot of heat last year for getting rid of Cooper and Mack. And then said, well, we don't need to win right away. Well, this is the last year in Oakland, a proud franchise. It's been a traditional franchise. There's a good fan base in Oakland, obviously all across the country with Raider fans, but definitely in Oakland. And I think there was a lot of pressure coming off last year to say, hey, this isn't this slow build. I've got a lifetime contract. We can take our time doing this. Instead, let's go win right away. We've got some money. So they go out and get an Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. And again, it's big time risk reward. It's at all cost. Winning can be at all costs sometimes, right? Playing the game of football can be at all costs sometimes. But what can you put up with? And, I tweeted out today, and this is the way my tweet read, okay? And this, I knew what I was in for, but I'm just telling you, this is just me being honest. This was the first thing that popped in my mind. Okay?
Let's hear it.
Let's see what I said. I said, say what you want. But reality is Antonio Brown's selfishness and entitlement is something teams are willing to throw money at and keep on a team, yet Kaepernick can't get a tryout. There's no logic in that. There's none.
Yeah.
And I know what we're in for now. We're in for everything the Kaepernick, the love, the hate of Kaepernick. I get it. That really wasn't my point. My point was, and I understand when you bring up Kaepernick, I'm not dumb. I just tweeted it out because that was the first thing I thought of. And then I didn't tweet it, and then I was like, okay. This is a guy.
How are the responses, by the way?
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Was it bad?
It's fantastic.
I have to go look at this, yeah.
But anyway, my point in it is I don't know how good of a quarterback Kaepernick is. In fact, I have argued before that he might not be worth the hassle, much like Tim Tebow from a circus kind of atmosphere. Might not, if you're a backup quarterback or a third string quarterback, are you worth bringing in if you have this following, this circus act behind you? Now, Tebow's situation totally different. I'm not trying to lump all guys in together, but I'm trying to give you examples. It doesn't have to be the name Kaepernick is my point. My point is, how does a guy that played, got the team to a Super Bowl, has some sort of skill level, even as a backup, when teams are kind of recycling backup quarterbacks and picking them off the streets because there's not enough of them, hasn't been able to really get a shake in the NFL. Yet teams are willing to put up with the entitlement, the behavior, the selfishness of an Antonio Brown. Now, what the quick response and probably the right response is, well, look at AB's numbers. Look at his production. You're saying, okay, it's
one of
worth
the best
that
wide receivers in the
production
league
versus that. But is it? Is it worth it? And I'm not saying, by the way, like a Kaepernick guy should have stuck. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he can't even get a sniff in the situation. So it just, from a chances standpoint, there's been 3 years now since the Kaepernick part of it. What happened. Would it still be the same? Would he do things that would not be smart as a backup quarterback or cause more distractions? Probably. But my point is, this guy's causing distractions too. Like, distractions are distractions. Is there really a difference in distractions?
Yeah. So listen, I've been adamant about the whole Kaepernick thing because I said it's funny how you give Kareem Hunt another chance when he kicks somebody, when he kicks a female, basically, tries to kick her and assault her. He gets another shot on another team. But Kaepernick doesn't get another shot.
He's still suspended,
Well, he's still suspended. But, Brent, it's kind of, I guess, the same way why Ray Rice never got another shot, but Kareem Hunt did. Because you have to ask yourself, does the talent outweigh the distractions and the off-the-field issues? Now, with Kaepernick, see, here's the problem. yes, people will say it's an off-the-field issue, right? People will say what he did is a distraction. I'm from the, and I'm careful how I word this, I'm from the philosophy that what he did had to be done, and it was a positive distraction because now things have come from it, right?
They're going to come from it tonight.
Yeah.
In a way, and I know this is a different kind of subject.
Yeah.
But tonight, with the Rock Nation development and relationship with the NFL, whether you agree or don't agree, 3 years later, something is coming about tonight because of the Kaepernick stuff. And I have not been a staunch defender of Kaepernick. I really haven't. But I'm just talking from a logic point of view. Carry on.
No, absolutely. Is Kaepernick better than some of the backup quarterbacks out there right now that I've seen? Absolutely, because you have to look at what his skill set brings to the table. It's funny. It's almost like you're starting to see a resurgence now of guys that can run with their feet a little bit and then throw the football. That's how Kaepernick made his money. All right, now granted, I mean, when San Fran ran that read option a little bit, the quarterback option with him, I mean, that was kind of ahead of its time, and defenses started to adjust to that. But who's to say with Kaepernick's wheels, he has a decent arm that he couldn't play in the NFL again. So what bugs me is that no one's giving him the shot. Okay, it would be one thing if it was like, you know what, maybe we have our backups in place and they're not as good as Kaepernick, whatever. But no one's even bringing him in for a workout to see what he's capable of. Like the guy's on Twitter showing he's still working out. He seems to be in great shape. No one's giving him the opportunity. But at the same time, we're giving guys opportunities who beat up women, who do all these horrible things because their talent outweighs that. And my issue with the whole Kaepernick thing is the fact that, yes, you have to ask yourself, does the talent outweigh the distraction? But to me, the distraction was never a negative thing. To me, as a black man in America, it was a positive thing. Just my opinion, though.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, man, I'm going to tell you, we've talked Kaepernick a bunch on the show.
Yeah.
But this really had a little to do with Kaepernick, my tweet, as much as it has to do with Antonio Brown. And how much can you put up with as an organization? How much should you be able to put up with? When does the guy pay the price for being an idiot? That's, again, I mean, listen, this is at all levels. It's at the youth level, collegiate level. It's at the professional level. And if you're going to allow this to happen, if you're going to, the Steelers put up with it for as long as they could. And they said, we can't do it anymore. See you later. And Oakland said, here's $30 million. Even though, listen, they knew they had information on Antonio Brown. Yeah. They took a chance. And again, I'm going to sit here and tell you that I was the guy, I too said, hey, it might be worth taking the chance. Go get me a playmaker in Jacksonville. I did say that, but I also am not privy to all the information these guys have. Yeah. They have more background information. And here's the deal, man. Here's what got me thinking of it. So say the Raiders cut ties at some point this year with Antonio Brown, and say they win back the money and they don't even really eat money and any of it. Somebody else is going to go pick up Antonio Brown.
Of course.
Absolutely, even with all these antics, even though it's played out on Hard Knocks. I mean, what are we doing?
Well, it didn't really play on Hard Knocks because they kind of added that whole thing, but that's another topic for another day.
But the bottom line is, we've all been now, like, this has been a soap opera for a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And but somebody else will give him a shot. When do you send a guy like that and say, hey, you know what? You ain't playing in this league, man. Like, if you want collusion, that's what I'd say. Collude against Antonio Brown and
as long as you're catching 10 touchdowns a season, Brent, you're catching over 1,000 yards, whatever it is, there's always going to be a spot for you. And honestly, this Antonio Brown, and I'm going to go after the segment here, it's something that Mark Cuban said. I thought Mark Cuban actually, of all people, brought up a great point of the state of the NFL and why with Antonio Brown and other players right now, you might see a paradigm shift coming up in the next couple seasons or so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
To get back to NBA versus NFL and players pulling a lot of the punches.
You better believe it.
Antonio Brown almost sounds like he might have almost pulled some punches. All right, let's talk a little bit more about it. It's a hot topic, but then we really want to get into the Jags. You've got some stuff on Jags versus Chiefs, what they can learn from last year's game. That's obviously our big topic here locally. And fantasy football, if you want to jump in on fantasy football, we're going to do a draft at 4 o'clock. I have no idea how this is going to work.
It's going to be a stressful situation.
But either way, if you want some fantasy football advice, try us on
Antonio Brown in here, man. I'm already too stressed to run the show and do a fantasy football draft.
It's next on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jags with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine today, and it'll be hot as Dorian moves away. We soar into the mid-90s this afternoon. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Will Stan Van Gundy dance at an Elton John concert? Is that something that's ever happened? Is it something that ever would happen?
No. The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Super Sales event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander, it's not $35,500. Now it's only $24,888. That's $24,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $36,500. No way. Now it's just $28,888. Just $28,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase, and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golic and Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
If you're looking to propose or just looking to get her something to show her how much you love her,
then you're in luck.
Right now at Beard's Jewelry, take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing.
Yes, this financing offer's been so huge, Beard's Diamonds is extending it till the end of September. You'll already get the rock-bottom prices Beard's is known for, but now you get to spread your payments out over 60 months.
How about a $6,000 Tacori or Veragio ring? You pay just $100 a month.
Or a pair of diamond studs for $1,500, you pay just $25 a month. Now's the time to get her that piece of jewelry she's been dreaming about and spread your payments out over 60 months. But hurry, this spectacular financing offer ends September 30th.
Beard's Jewelry, where exceptional is affordable.
Located at the St. John's Town Center, or visit beardsdiamonds.com for more details. See the difference. Save thousands at Beard's Diamonds.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Codan is now Local Solutions. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today.
It got me thinking back to my days covering the Giants camp. I remember talking about how hard it was, mostly if it went against the rules, because Strahan and some other players would challenge Coughlin on him.
Do you remember those days, though, where teams would get punished?
Action Sports Jax, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
It's me, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, the king of bada bing. This is Action Sports Jax. Bang!
Hey, welcome back, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. We are a few days away from a football game in Jacksonville, and we have a football game tonight in the NFL. That is fun stuff. We have a fantasy football draft coming up at 4 o'clock. I don't know if that will be fun or not. Still trying to figure that part out. What's not fun, or maybe it is, this Antonio Brown conversation. And Antonio Brown continues to be a distraction in Oakland. And once again, if you're just catching in on the Antonio Brown talk, apparently had a run-in with GM Mike Mayock, had to be separated according to some reports, held back earlier this week because of the fine situation that he was fined for the missing practices and training camp. Well, that has now led to reports that Antonio Brown could potentially be suspended. He's not at the facility today in Oakland, not at practice today. Mike Mayock actually came out, and this is what's funny. Mike Mayock could have said a statement. He actually had microphones gather and everything, comes out, walks in front of the microphone, literally talks for 15 seconds, and then goes back. I mean, couldn't you have given us a statement on that, Mike?
Yeah.
Did you really have to gather the media for that? But didn't take any questions or anything. But there was some speculation. Some reporting. I think Adam Schefter said that this could lead to a suspension, and who knows where it goes from there. So it's a big topic in the sports world today is Antonio Brown, and it continues to be a big story. We mentioned a little bit earlier about the Kaepernick deal, about why he hasn't got a shot in the last 3 years. Some people said, hey, has he had a chance and he turned that down? Well, we don't know the inner workings of that. We also don't really know the inner workings of this Mayock versus Antonio Brown situation. I mean, does Antonio Brown have a point in some of this? Maybe. Who knows? So we just got to go with what we have. And I think Kuz just brought up a good point, too, when you think about the Kaepernick situation. Even though I was trying to make this less about Kaepernick and more about Antonio Brown getting chance after chance after chance, millions and millions and millions, because he's productive on the football field, yet he's a pain in the butt. You don't really want him around your football team. And that's really what's interesting to me is that part of it. Much like I think if you had the Kaepernick situation, he might help you out as a backup on your football team. If you look at from a backup-only standpoint, he would be one of the better backups in the NFL. I think people would admit that. But you might not want to deal with everything that comes with it the entire week. Not necessarily him. Yeah. I'm saying everything else that comes with Kaepernick being on your roster. So to me, that's where the similarity is. And I think Kuz brought up a good point in our break as we were discussing this a little bit more. The big difference is people are not watching the Oakland Raiders or the NFL or Monday Night Football on Monday because of Antonio Brown. In fact, maybe this is shame on all of us, but we are probably more intrigued because of the Antonio Brown stuff. What happened, or at least what presumably happened with a bunch of factors, but this one being top of line, is that people stopped watching. Some protested the NFL and the product with the Colin Kaepernick situation. So I thought that was a good point, a fair point from Kuz.
But to be fair, too, the owners are afraid of losing money as well. I mean, I think if an owner, and I'm not trying to speak for all owners because there are some different owners out there, but I'm talking about the majority of the NFL owners, if they were to bring Colin Kaepernick in and bring him on their team, there would be at least nervousness for the fact that you're probably going to lose some money.
Yeah. And,
your name's going to be kind of drugged through the mud a little bit.
Yeah, well, and that's what Kuz was saying.
Yeah.
And that's what I guess we're saying.
From the owner, I mean, I get the fans' perspective, but it should be about winning ball games, correct?
True.
Well, even the owners are worried about them losing money.
Good point.
Because it comes down to money first of all, which is funny to me.
That's what comes back to me. Why are owners not worried about this, having a guy with this type of behavior on their football team? But to Kuz's point, you're not going to lose money. In fact, you might gain it. You have more interest. There's that old, hey, any pub is good pub. Mm-hmm. Right? Any press is good press. Mm-hmm. And Antonio Brown brings that, right or wrong. And I don't think you can lose sight of that. And even me, now that we're talking through this thing, I was like, well, that's a good point. I mean, there's a big difference. You're not going to lose at the ticket office by having Antonio Brown on your football team. Even if he pulls all these crazy things, you're not.
Yeah, but Brent, to be fair, though, if they're not winning ball games, no one's going to care about Antonio Brown, the spectacle. People aren't going to go to Raiders games if they're 0-6, 0-7. If they're losing football games, no one's going to care about that. No one's just going to go watch, let's see what Antonio Brown does today. No, people want to go see a winner. That's what it comes down to.
They do, but listen, today we're going to do our fantasy football draft, and right now, let's forget about before they play a game.
Sure.
You know what everybody wants to know?
What's that?
Is Antonio Brown going to play on Sunday or not? Is he going to be with the Raiders? Is he going to play? Because if he is, I want to take him in my first or second round of my draft. What they're not saying is, hey, is Colin Kaepernick going to back up a quarterback, back up somebody else? Because I really want to take him in my first and second round of my fantasy football draft. You know what I mean? They're not. Mm-hmm. So to that point, I mean, that's a fair point. It's just, and while it might, again, what I brought this up was about the chances and how much entitlement are we going to give these guys and these players and how they act sometimes. And Antonio is just the biggest. Antonio's the biggest culprit of this right now. Can you name another guy that has gotten this kind of attention in a negative way in a team sport in recent memory?
Nothing's ringing any
bells. Is he on an island? In this perspective, listen, Le'Veon Bell chose to sit out. But he didn't every 2 weeks make this escapade of whatever and grab the headlines and all. It was okay. He sat out and he's not coming back, and that was a story.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a soap opera.
Well,
I'm trying to think of somebody in baseball that's done this. I can't think of it. I can't think of the NBA.
Well, yeah, but this is my point of the whole paradigm shift that's taken place here, Brent. And I credit Mark Cuban here, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, for bringing this to my attention. I read what he said, and I spent the night kind of just dwindling on it a little bit, kind of thinking about it, what his words said. And then at the next morning, I woke up, I'm like, you know what? Mark Cuban makes some pretty damn good points. And here's what Mark Cuban said. He said the reason why the NBA is rising so much right now, because it probably is the fastest growing sport, not only in the U.S., but also in the world, is because the NBA realizes that that it's a player-driven league, all right? The players make it go. The NFL is not like that. The NFL is not a player-driven league. And now you're having these new generations of guys come in the league, Brent, with, they call them the Generation Y. They always ask questions like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Why are we doing that? They question everything.
Why are you only paying me this much?
Well, now they're starting to question because they're starting to realize, Brent, that it's not a player-driven league. Do you want to know how I know that? The very first day that I got to the NFL, and we sat in the very first meeting, do you know what they said to us? They said it wasn't about the players. It was about protecting the shield.
The shield.
It's always about the shield. Yep. The shield isn't the players. The shield is an umbrella of everybody. Yep. It's the owners, it's the GMs, it's the coaches, and it's the players. It's not just the players. So you have a sport like the NBA. You have a franchise like the NBA right now that they market their players, they promote their players, they showcase their players. But you have a sport like the NFL, you have a league like the NFL that it's like a giant machine where, yeah, the players want to be seen, but you have the GMs, you have the owners. Everybody wants a piece of that limelight. And in doing that, you're kind of starting to create this rift between the players and the upper management. And I think it's only going to get worse before it gets better, honestly.
Yeah, I think we're on that track. Again, we've hit on this many a times. Yeah. I don't know if I love it in the NBA, quite frankly. And maybe I'm more of a systemic guy. Maybe it's shame on me,
Well, but let's be honest, though, Brent. The players are happy in the NBA. I mean, I don't hear a lot of outcry of players being upset. Now, there's a couple outliers.
The money's unbelievable.
Yeah, the money's unbelievable. I think the owners are pretty happy.
I think so.
And I think the fans are happy.
And let's be honest. I mean, if we are being honest, and I really don't want to go down the political road, but the NBA has always been more of a liberal organization, I think, at least viewed that way.
Yeah.
And while I don't know how all 32 owners vote from a Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative nature, I think it's always been at least perceived that it's more on the conservative side of things as the NFL. I think that's fair to say. And so maybe even the thinking lines up together is my point in the NBA a little bit to make owners and player relationships a little bit better. Maybe. The Clippers guy, they got out of there, for saying bombastic things and ridiculous things.
Oh, yeah.
And ended up making change because you shouldn't get away with that anywhere, of course. So I don't know if there are parallels like that. I do think what Cuban says is in the trend of where we're going in the NFL might be an indicator of that. Well, let me get back to what I said. I might be guilty of this systemic approach from the NFL. I just feel like it's more relatable, I guess, in the regular work world, because in our world, at least in the world I've worked in for 20 years, you've had a corporate structure, and the NFL feels more like a corporate structure. You do kind of play for the shield. That's kind of the lead. And in our world, well, whatever your company is, sometimes big business company that you work for, well, you're doing things for that company, right? That logo, that you represent that organization. And so I think a lot more people can relate to that way of structure, I think, right or wrong. What has changed and what is so different, and I think, is the dollars. The amount of money that players are now making allows them to maybe take a bigger stand earlier on in their career with their viewpoints. Because like we've said in the past, Antonio Brown can really do whatever the heck he wants. You know why? It's not because he's coming off a 3-year career in the NFL. He's now made a lot of money in the NFL. He can fall back on a lot of dollars in his bank account. Le'Veon Bell had made a good amount of money. He can now sit out. If it's you going into your 4th year when you were playing, and you have by this time made, I don't know, $800,000 or whatever it is, well, you're going to be less likely to turn against anybody else and go out on your own with less money in your bank account to fall back on in case it doesn't work out.
True.
You're not going to take that chance. Most players are not.
No.
If you look at the players that are loud and taking the chance, they've got a pretty hefty wallet, is my point.
True.
And so
I'll give you that.
And part of that is the salaries are bigger.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so guys can have more of a voice. They feel more comfortable having a voice. I think they do see what the NBA is doing a little bit. I also believe this is an NFL that has worked for a long time. And it rose to heights unseen. Nobody ever would have predicted. It rose to the pinnacle of our American sports. And it still is that. And it got a lot of help, by the way. The NFL is not just a genius in that regard. Yes, the players put a lot on the line for that. Fantasy football helped that. Gambling helped that. There's TV rights helped that. There's a lot of things that help that. But I think it's dangerous to upset that. See, the difference is the NBA went on star power for a long time, and they had Jordan, Bird, and Magic. Well, then they had a terrible image problem in the late 90s and early 2000s, and they really didn't have a ton of stars. Who did they have? They had Kobe. Yeah. Right? They had Shaq, I think. But they didn't have this litany of stars. Well, they went through, and they had a bad image problem.
Yeah.
Right? And even Kobe and Shaq at times were fighting, and Kobe went through his thing. So I think what they've done now on the other side of this is they've created a mess of stars. I mean, a litany of them. We got stars all over the place. I mean, there's 12 teams that have 2 stars each in the NBA. And the NBA is blossoming. They're taking advantage of a global market where a few sports can. Baseball can, and it looks like, well, hockey can to a degree. But from a big sports standpoint, baseball does it a little bit, and NBA does a really good job. And they have no competition from the NFL on a global market, relatively speaking. And so the NBA now is thriving because of that and because of all the star power they have. The danger in relying just on stars is what happens if Peyton Manning and Tom Brady retire 5 years ago and they're not playing. And there's no great crop of quarterbacks coming up. There's no Mahomes. There was no Aaron Rodgers or Cam Newton. Now, fortunately, there are. But I'm just saying, what if there was just a bunch of Derek Carrs, Blake Bortles, Andy Daltons instead? Well, then you'd be in trouble.
You're still going to have those outliers, though, Brent. It's like, I guess my point is this. Like, if you look at the landscape of the NFL, even for the past, 2 decades, I mean, when you had guys like Terrell Owens or Chad Johnson, here's a perfect example. Chad Johnson used his fame, and he didn't really have social media, but he just used his presence, his ability to talk to people, and he parlayed that into other ventures, right? Like, I'm sure Chad Johnson right now is doing very well for himself, a.k.a. Ocho Cinco.
Yeah. What is his name?
Yeah, I know, right? But if I go on the street right now and ask the casual football fan who Andre Johnson is, Andre Johnson is one of the best wide receivers I ever played against. But he was a quiet dude. He kind of kept to himself a little bit, played for the Houston Texans, obviously. But if I go on the street and ask, what do you think Andre Johnson's up to? I don't think anyone's going to be able to tell me. And my point is that what NBA players have the ability to do, because all the cameras are on them, right? Like, regardless if they're on the court or off the court, people can recognize them. When you play in the NFL, you hide behind a helmet, you hide behind pads, and when you're off the field, while I think it's getting better, sometimes you don't get that, you don't get the, oh my gosh, it's him kind of thing.
You don't get that glow.
Unless you spread it.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think Odell Beckham Jr. dyed the top of his hair blonde? Because maybe people can recognize that better.
Yeah.
Why do you think Antonio Brown's mustache was blue for a little bit? Because maybe people can recognize that better. It's all about branding. Now, I'm not agreeing with Antonio Brown here. I'm not saying what he's doing is right.
I hear what he's saying.
But I see where he's kind of coming from, I think. But it's not. I don't think it's good, though. If I was the GM, I can't have you on my team.
I understand what you're saying, though. It is an interesting parallel. A lot of people believe, or some people that I've discussed this with, believe that even Richard Sherman, who's a smart guy, was very calculated in the "You Mad Bro."
Oh, of course.
Very calculated.
Yeah.
And where did his stardom go right after that?
Skyrocketed.
Yeah. It's a great example of what you're talking about.
Yep.
The one big difference, man, and I don't know if we can get here, and this is why. You can have 2 stars on an NBA team and you can be successful. If you have just 2 stars on an NFL team, remember, it's the ultimate team game, everybody tells me. It takes a heck of a lot more than 2 people.
You're right.
Even if you're a great quarterback. Ask Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
You're
right.
So it's a big difference in the dynamic of how the sport works in that regard. Interesting. Hey, let's talk about a football game coming up on Sunday. How about it?
Let's do it.
Jags and Chiefs. You can jump in, too. Fantasy football questions. ** 690.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m.
I had no idea we were going to draft Blaine Gabbert. All right? Did your jaw just drop?
Yeah, it did. Did you sense the silence?
No idea. In fact, I left to go get something to eat because our pick wasn't for much longer in the draft.
You're supposed to pick 16th, yeah.
On ESPN 690.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Super Sales Event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander, it's not $35,500. Now it's only $24,888. That's $24,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $36,500. No way. Now it's just $28,888. Just $28,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
At Action News Jax, we're here or severe when storms threaten. Put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish, rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Is today the day it'll finally stop raining?
We sure hope so, but it's been a very wet summer so far. This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Don't forget, your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Here at Big Fish Roofing, as an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we are locally owned and we drive our business with quality and integrity. We do not require any down payments until your roof project is complete. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing. We are the roofers you can trust. We are Big Fish Roofing.
A computer can change the life of a child. As you replace your company's computers, consider donating your end-of-life machines to the STEM2 Hub. We work with local partners to complete data destruction and updates needed to get the computers into the hands of local students who don't have the access to these critical technologies. Help us close the digital divide. For more information, visit STEM2hub.org. That's STEM, the number 2, HUB.org. Donate to STEM2 Hub and help prepare local students for the jobs of the future.
Hey, boss, you're not gonna believe this.
What now?
Remember Frankie, the guy we've been showing the ropes to?
Who?
You know, our protege.
Oh, yeah, Frankie. The next generation of crooks making us proud.
Yeah, not so much. Boss, he just got busted.
He what?
Yup. Cops caught him. He was, Boss, you might want to sit down for this.
Uh-oh. Sounds serious.
Yeah, they caught him breaking into our warehouse.
Ooh, the little weasel. Of all the places to break into, he chose our warehouse? You just can't trust anyone these days.
Yeah, and he knew we had Safe Touch security monitoring the place with the two-way communicator, the video monitoring.
Huh. Serves him right for breaking rule number 1 in the Crooks R Us handbook. Stay away from Safe Touch houses.
Yeah.
Kids these days.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, everybody, this is Austin Lane. I used to wear number 92, and while it's a great number, 94 just might be better.
That's because Vida de Luis recently got a 94 rating. Hey, this is Brent Martineau. Vida de Luis is a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste.
For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com.
Must be at least 21 to drink. Drink responsibly.
There are many challenges facing small business owners, from financing your operation to hiring the right people. Where can you go to find possible solutions? The Jacksonville chapter of SCORE offers workshops on various topics relevant to running a small business. Subject matter experts lead these workshops, most of which are free or at a nominal cost. If you're interested in attending any of the 120 workshops being held this year, go to the Take a Workshop tab found on our website, jacksonville.score.org.
That's the crossroads.
So then you would have Jerry Jones basically saying we're not
paying market value for what this guy would be worth.
He just came out and said you can win a Super Bowl without winning a rushing title.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and in the TuneIn Radio app.
Yeah, you definitely have notes. You get to watch the game a couple times, seeing how they went about it and what they had success with and what we had success with. And so I think the biggest thing is knowing that they're going to have adjustments and you're going to have to make adjustments on the fly and have adjustments that are kind of going in with the game plan. And Jacksonville has a great defense. They have guys in every single position that can make plays. And so just kind of playing that chess match during the game and taking what's there and taking those shots when they're there is something that we're going to have to kind of work on throughout the week and go out and capitalize in the game.
Well, that's Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. What a talent. What a fun guy to watch play. I mean, you can't deny that. Listen, you can hate some teams that come in here. Kansas City's not a team I think that you dislike. I actually was talking to our producer for our Countdown to Kickoff show, which you can see at 11:30 on CBS 47, live from the bank on Sunday. We're talking a little bit about that. It's like Kansas City's not this like evil team, you know, like the Raiders always have that to them anyway. And then the Titans, of course, and the Texans and the Colts even don't have like this bad guy feel because Andrew Luck was a nice guy. Peyton Manning was a hard guy to not like, even though he might beat the heck out of you. Although some people would say I'm wrong on that. I get it. But you get my point, right? Andy Reid's a nice guy, it seems like. He's a good guy. Patrick Mahomes, a young kid, spectacular talent, seems to say and do all the right things, and he's video game-esque. He's great for the young generation, the older generation. I think he falls right in between of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they do have the Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill situations, which I think are more isolated than kind of representative of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sure.
But you played for the Chiefs. Did you find when you went, outside of the AFC West, when you played against the Broncos and the Chargers and the Raiders, I bet you didn't find a lot of dislike for the organization because even the stadium and the fans are well appreciated around the league.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Chiefs overall are kind of an underrated organization. Not from a football standpoint, but just from like a culture standpoint / fan experience standpoint.
They have a great history too.
Yeah, they
and
do.
people don't bring it up, but they have a fantastic history.
They have a great history. They have great ownership. I think once you become a Chief, you take great pride in becoming a Chief. It's like when I played for Chicago too. I took great pride because, you think of some of the great defenses in Chicago history. I was honored to even be a part of that team for the little bit that I was there. And kind of the same thing with the Chiefs. The ownership comes in and they kind of explain the history of the team. And it's something that you have pride in. And then obviously the fans, it's like I've said, Brent, Kansas City is probably the loudest place I've ever played in. And you can maybe say that's by design of the stadium where it's kind of built on top of each other, where instead of going out wide, the stadium kind of goes up. It's more vertical than horizontal. But those fans are super passionate, and I think Patrick Mahomes now is coming into the league. And I honestly think with what Steph Curry's done in the NBA, we're kind of changed the game a little bit. I think Patrick Mahomes, and this is all due respect to Russell Wilson, because I think Russell Wilson has something to do with it as well. But like I talked about, Brent, I talked about with Alex Magoo a little bit. You bring in these baseball players that can make these crazy throws from different arm angles. I think it's going to change the game. And I think Patrick Mahomes is spearheading that, that movement coming up now.
Yeah, we don't give you enough credit for some of those thoughts. That's a good thought. Mm-hmm. And it's not something. Now, listen, baseball guys have been around. John Elway, I think, was a baseball guy, too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think overall, now, we might not talk high level. I think we can name a lot of players. That's my point.
Yeah.
That were probably baseball guys. But I think from the angle you're coming in, I think that's a little bit more accurate, Mm-hmm. And I also believe it's almost like this video game age of creativity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this understanding is running around. Like for us, it used to be in the backyard and two-hand touch.
Of course.
Well, for a lot of these guys, and not that I'd say I didn't play video games, but I think it's so prevalent. Mm-hmm. And for a guy like Mahomes, who's 25 years old, 26 years old,
yeah,
he grew up playing Madden.
True.
His entire life. Mm-hmm. He knew what a robber defense was.
Yeah,
I mean, he knew these things. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he kind of almost creatively in his mind could subconsciously see himself doing this as his talent got as good as maybe playing a video game got good.
True.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird thing, but nobody else grew up with that.
Well, I agree with you, but at the same, and he does remind you of watching a video game. Like you're playing Madden, all right, circle button, juke, all right, then throw. It reminds me of that, but I knew this guy was going to be special because if you watch him in the pocket, Brent, and this is, I mean, last year he was a second-year guy, and I call him a first-year guy last year because he didn't play so much his rookie year. He had Alex Smith, taking all the reps.
Absolutely.
I think he had him maybe 2 or 3 games. And then a season, yeah. But then you see a guy come into quote-unquote his rookie year this past season and just have this confidence and poise in the pocket that you're not accustomed to seeing a first or second-year guy having, and I think that comes from his confidence. But it's funny, and I'm kind of dwelling on this, like, I get what you're saying about the video game thing. And when you talk to a lot of quarterbacks, they always say, well, growing up as a kid, this guy was my inspiration, this guy's my inspiration. And listen, I don't know who Patrick Mahomes' inspiration was when he was a kid watching, but to me, like, he's like his own guy. Like, he has like the improv. He can go on the fly like Brett Favre used to, but like, he doesn't turn the ball over like Brett Favre did. It's Patrick Mahomes, and I think in the next couple years or so, we'll be talking about Patrick Mahomes being just that one of a kind of quarterback.
Well, no, let's not lose sight of this now. It's situational too, and he's in a fantastic situation.
Yeah,
I mean, Andy Reid's one of the best.
Yep.
And look at all the talent around him, and they've done a good job of putting talent around him. Yeah. So I always would say, because there's obviously a lot of talk. Should the Jags have done this and gone and got Mahomes? And now that you're sitting here, maybe they should.
Hindsight's 2020, but let's be honest, Brent. Out of college, no one's really talking about him.
Would he be like this? Is always a question I ask, and I've always said this, and I've said it countless times on this show. And if you've heard me over the years, I've said it countless times about a guy like Russell Wilson. Yes, I think Russell Wilson could have been a good quarterback in Jacksonville. I do not think he would have been what he's been in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because they had a defense in place. They had the right situation for him. They actually grew that thing around him and gave him enough time in the early years to get to the point where he could be elite and handle a lot of it himself once the defense started to go away and players got off that roster. And here we are all these years later. So I always keep in mind it's situational. But this kid does look like a sensational talent. And my point is he's really hard not to like. I really think it's hard not to like a guy like Mahomes and kind of what's he going to do next? It's kind of a fun thing. That's why I might pick him number 1 in my fantasy draft coming up at 4 o'clock. Hey, let's welcome in South Beach Gary real quick. He's got some thoughts on the Jags and Dolphins. What's up, man?
Let's make the song of the day Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan.
All right.
You're talking about likable, Brent. Is there any more likable guy than Fitzmagic? You got to root for a guy like that.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. I mean, the beard gives him a little bit of persona. I think the Harvard smarts give him a little something that's unique in the NFL. You're not used to that, right? You don't label a Harvard guy being an NFL quarterback. His staying power has been good, and at times, he can sling it at times. He's been good, but not good enough, not consistent enough. So I get it. Yeah, I think he's a likable guy. The difference is he's likable and just okay, and okay might be a compliment. Mahomes is likable and might be a freaking stud.
Right. Even Jameis Winston, though, speaks well of him, Austin. You got to admit, I mean, so he's a team guy. He's very very unselfish as far as, imparting what he knows about the game, what he can help the younger players. And not all quarterbacks have done that over the years.
No, I agree with that, but that's kind of a testament of how long he's been able to stay in the league. He's been a backup for a while. He's gone through a lot of offensive coordinators. He's been a part of a lot of locker rooms. So I think, on top of his arm talent, what, quote unquote, Fitzmagic brings to the table is also just the ability to adapt to a locker room as well.
All right, South Beach guy, we're going to get you in and out. What do you got?
Dolphins by 10, Chiefs by 13 on Sunday.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. We'll talk a little bit about it. Give the picks a little bit later
Dolphins
on tomorrow.
Beating the Ravens.
But Dolphins beating the Ravens. That would be an upset that I think might help the Jacksonville Jaguars down the road.
Yeah.
Talking about wild card and everything else around it. Hey, let's break down the game. How much will last year? We just heard
Do you want me
Mahomes.
to break down the Ravens-Dolphins game? Okay, no.
I know you're going to do something about a bad offensive line against a good defensive front. I know where you're going to go with.
Yeah, pretty much.
How are they doing at left tackle? Anyway, Mahomes, you just heard him talk about playing the Jags a second time. So he can learn stuff from playing the Jags. I think the Jags will have new wrinkles. Mahomes has also said that he will have new wrinkles. This offense will have new wrinkles with Shady McCoy and just the growth of the offense and his growth as an NFL player.
Yeah.
How much will these teams, and maybe more specifically the Jags, use what they saw on film last year in this game coming up on Sunday? And I do want to remind folks, Mahomes, although they went for 400 yards and 30 points, a touchdown was on defense. Chris Jones intercepted Blake on a terrible play.
Yeah.
And then Mahomes did not throw a touchdown pass in the game and was picked twice. So that is notable in a year where he threw 50 touchdown passes.
Very notable. And it's funny, Brem, because as I've been trying to break down this Chiefs offense from last year and I look game by game, kind of look at the box scores and the stats, it is hard to find a game where the Chiefs offense didn't absolutely dominate. You know, I mean, I kind of talked about the Patriots a couple of days ago in the AFC Championship game, but I mean, even against a pretty solid Patriots defense with Bill Belichick at the helm, the Chiefs still dropped a lot of points and lost to them in overtime. You know, so it's hard for me to sit here and say, well, this is what you got to do to stop the Chiefs. It's what you have to do. Well, if you want to go to see at least some tips of how to stop the Chiefs, you have to look back last season, Brent, with the Jaguars, because like you said, Patrick Mahomes had the lowest quarterback rating out of the whole season in that game, and he didn't throw a single touchdown. So what, you know, I mean, in that game, what were some things that I saw really that Patrick Mahomes, you know, maybe we can expose him a little bit? And it's kind of like I've talked about the whole week now, and even last week Friday, where Andy Reid is the master of giving you know, his playmakers the football. And if I'm Andy Reid and I'm scouting the Jacksonville Jaguars now, Brent, and I'm going off last season, do you know where the Jacksonville Jaguars look exposed according to last season? It was a slot, right? So I get it. Like, do you put Tyreek Hill in the slot? You don't need to, because you have guys like Mecole Hardman. You got guys like Demarcus Robinson, a Florida guy, by the way, where when these guys get in space, they're going to hurt you. So if I'm the Jacksonville Jaguars, the biggest thing you have to do is confuse Mahomes up front. And that's what you saw a little bit last year. When Mahomes threw both of his interceptions, the first one came when basically they ran so there was no running backs in the backfield. It was spread out of shotgun. And Mahomes looked a little confused of where to throw the ball to. Try to go to Tyreek Hill, and once again in double coverage, which I've said, I think you have to double team Tyreek Hill. Try to force the ball, interception, and the Jags get the ball back. But what hurt the Jaguars in that game, and yes, Blake Bortles obviously was a big crucial part to that, threw 4 interceptions and threw the ball 61 times. All right, that's
not a recipe.
That's not good. And on the other side, TJ Yeldon had 10 carries, 53 yards. My point is why, and I get it. You know, TJ Yeldon, he's not that bruising back, and Fournette was out that game. But I think if you want to beat the Chiefs, and I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face, Brent, but you have to be able to run the ball. I think if the Jaguars
they're suspect at linebacker too.
Exactly. But from a defensive perspective here, to stop Mahomes, you have to confuse him. And that's what the exotic looks and everything that are coming in. I mentioned, I think it was last Thursday, in a fourth quarter play against the Falcons, Taven Bryan dropped back into coverage and is playing the hook man. So basically what that means was the Jaguars rush 3, Taven Bryan drops back. Now, yeah, it's just a random play in a fourth preseason game. But to me, that tells me that you're going to see that play against the Kansas City Chiefs as well, because you have to take away the middle of the field. You have to take away the crossing route to Tyreek Hill. They still have capable running backs in Damian Williams, and now they got LaShawn McCoy. But going back
before people drive off the road, they'll probably do that play with Josh Allen, not Taven Bryan.
Probably, yeah. Well, it'll be with somebody. It could be Darius.
Just wanted to rescue
It could
people.
be Calais. Yeah, it could be Calais Campbell. But I get where you're going with this for sure. But here's where the Jaguars really got hurt. And if you go back to the first drive for the Kansas City Chiefs in the first quarter, the Jaguars are doing very well against them. They actually stopped them. And then on 3rd and 5. Basically what happened was Anthony Sherman, who's a guy I played with for the Chiefs, he's a fullback, very unassuming guy. All due respect to Anthony Sherman, not the most athletic guy. He's a fullback for a reason, right?
Big tough guy.
But runs a 15-yard out, and I believe Telvin Smith was on him. Sherman was wide open, makes the catch, first down Chiefs, and they got momentum from there. So if
could have had him off the field.
Could have had him off the field. So that's what Andy Reid is so good at doing. You know, like, yeah, we have to focus on Tyreek Hill. We got to focus on the big guy, Sammy Watkins. We got to focus on those dudes. Travis Kelce, obviously, he's a game wrecker. But you have to focus on the unassuming guys as well. Now, I'm not saying linebackers, you better key on Anthony Sherman again this year because they might throw some gadgets to him. No, I'm saying you got to key on Mecole Hardman or Demarcus Robinson. Those are the guys that can beat you. And if you're a linebacker, especially, you know, we have some young linebackers. We have Miles Jack in the middle that can hold it down, but Quincy Williams, and then we'll see the other side who's going to be playing. I mean, I think it's – do we know who's playing the other side of it's Quincy Williams?
Yeah, Marone talked today, and to be honest with you, I haven't seen it yet, which I should have, but I don't know if he's named it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, Quincy Williams is ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter if they feel comfortable with him or Najee Good. I think they'll end up going with Quincy Williams, but I'll have to look that up.
So they have to mind their P's and Q's, because whether it's going to be a back in the flats, or it's going to be a fullback, it's going to be some guy in the slot, whoever it's going to be, the linebackers have to mind their P's and Q's. And then my last point, which I saw, in the last game, when they were able to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, obviously, he was able to make mistakes. The second interception that Patrick Mahomes threw was because of Dante Fowler, a guy you probably didn't hear a lot in Jacksonville, fans will tell me. But Dante Fowler had great pressure Patrick Mahomes, and Mahomes made a mistake. Mahomes will make mistakes, but it's all predicated off the pressure. And I think that if you focus on bringing that pressure up the middle, because like I talk about, Brent, every quarterback's got their honey hole, right? Every quarterback's got that own little sweet spot where they can step up and make the pass where they feel more comfortable in. I truly think that that Patrick Mahomes' honey holes are to the side. Like, he can step up fine, but I think he feels more confident going off to his side a little bit. So if you can coordinate some rushes, if you can contain, if you can run some games and get pressure on them, you're going to have success, because I think you have the secondary, you have the corners to do it.
They have so many weapons. It's worth noting.
Yeah.
Again, all the names that you just mentioned, it's hard to cover them all, even with a good defense.
Yeah.
And so it comes back to the offense a little bit. And I want to take you back to a last year game in the final couple minutes of this segment before we get rolling with some more fantasy football stuff. And this conversation will continue, by the way, even during our fantasy football draft. But I'm not an X's and O's guy, right? Yeah. I don't claim to be. But last year, they came out of the gates and they had good field position inside Kansas City territory. I want to say around the 45, 47-yard line, something like that. They come out with 3 straight bombs down the field. Now, Blake has to rush to throw probably a half a second early, and he overthrows them, I think, like 3 straight times. Like, wow, they're going down the field 3 straight times. They saw something.
Yeah.
Well, they saw something, and actually something we talked about yesterday, where even their corners on this year's roster might be susceptible because they're very unproven. But you've got to be able to slow down the rush. And what the Jags did not do, coming out of that game, I remember this being a conversation, is for some unknown reason, they didn't chip the edge.
Okay. Yeah.
And so they didn't give, but they just tried to go. And keep in mind, they had already lost Cam Robinson.
Yeah.
So Josh Wells is playing there, and he's playing against Houston.
Yeah.
And,
Justin Houston.
And
was
who they just trade away? Who they gave away?
D Ford.
Ford.
And I'm not sure if Tombo was playing. Like, probably not. I think Tombo was out.
Okay, so
yeah.
you got
Whoever
Ford
was.
and Houston.
You got some legit guys.
And so they didn't chip with the running back, with tight ends or anything. If they could, and that was a big tactical mistake.
Yep. Well,
on their part for not doing that early on, because I think they saw something with the deep ball that could have helped them. But that rushed Blake the entire. I'm convinced that made Blake play a lot faster in his mind than he wanted to on one of the opening series of that football game.
Here's the thing, though, Brent. Like I said, TJ Yeldon had 10 carries for 53 yards. Now, I don't remember how.
And they gave up on the run.
I don't remember how the script went, but you're not going to beat Kansas City in a track meet. All right, you're not going to beat Kansas City by throwing the ball 60 times and hoping, praying that you can keep up with them. That's just not going to happen. Kansas City has way too many weapons to try to get in a track meet with. The best way to beat Kansas City is to keep Kansas City offense off the field, and if you do that, you do it by running the ball.
They do have a healthy Leonard Fournette this time around. You know what Blake Bortles' record is when he throws it 61 times in a game?
Can't imagine.
I have no idea either, but
Probably
it's 0-1 something.
Yeah.
Okay?
I
That's
don't think it
not the
happened a lot.
formula to win.
Didn't happen a lot.
I think actually that drew the ire. I mean, that could have been the start of the beginning of the end for even Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator in Jacksonville. When we come back, our fantasy football draft starts, but we're going to keep talking about Jags and Chiefs and a lot of football next on ESPN 690. I've said to people, I've said on air, I think the next 5 to 8 years will decide if Jacksonville wants to be Birmingham or if they want to be Charlotte.
Shortly after Shad Khan took over ownership and said, I want to redevelop the shipyards. The reason he wants to do that is a vibrant downtown, a vibrant sports complex, according to Khan, is something that the team needs to stay viable and sustainable financially. So the shipyards have really kind of started and stopped, but what we have now is one part of that.
Action Sports Jax, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended, smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Mellow Mushroom Jack's Beach, Mellow Mushroom Avondale, and Mellow Mushroom Southside.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
When you fire up a John Deere 1 Series tractor, you can tackle the job without wrestling the attachments. Hook up everything from a front loader to a drive-over mower deck in no time, so you can haul gravel, cut grass, or do any job in between. Because when things just click, work just gets done. And now get a 1 Series for just $99 a month at your nearest participating John Deere dealer. Nothing runs like a Deere. Run with us. Search John Deere 1 Series for more. 0% annual percentage rate. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take one capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter and Josina Anderson report the Raiders will suspend wideout Antonio Brown after he got into an argument with GM Mike Mayock in front of the team during Wednesday's practice. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky says it's just business as usual with Brown.
This goes back to Week 17 last year when he quit on the Pittsburgh Steelers in a must-win game to get into the playoffs. I'm not surprised by these antics or what has happened at all. I expected this out of AB.
The Raiders play their opener at home Monday night against the Broncos. The 100th NFL season kicks off tonight in Chicago with the Bears hosting the Packers. Colts owner Jim Irsay tells Forbes magazine he's turned down an offer of $3.2 billion to buy the team. The Irsay family has owned the Colts since 1972. Baseball final today, the White Sox beat the Indians 7-1, a complete game one-hitter for Reynaldo Lopez. Women's semifinal night at the U.S. Open, live coverage at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
The satisfying crunch of Nature Valley Crunchy Bars can keep your family going, which means more outside fun for you. And with whole grain oats and real delicious honey, it's really tasty too. Nature Valley Oats and Honey Crunchy Bars.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
No, I still talk to Chris. I mean, Chris was a good friend of mine. His wife and my girlfriend are good friends, and so I'm able to still keep up with him. I know he's going out there working hard and excited for the season as well, so it'd be kind of cool to get to play against him in that first one.
That's Patrick Mahomes talking about Chris Conley. A lot of love for Chris Conley. Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver who comes over from Kansas City, of course, and could, I think, have a breakout season in the NFL. He had a nice year last year, 5 touchdown catches. Everybody was catching touchdowns, but I think more keyed in on this year by the Jacksonville Jaguars offense and Nick Foles, and Foles loves having him. You know, he's primarily been a third receiver in the NFL. He might be able to bump his status up a little bit on this roster, depending on how some of the young guys do, like Dede Westbrook, DJ Chark, Keelan Cole, where Marquise Lee fits into the equation. Be really interesting to see, but gives you a sense of how much they like Chris Conley, and we do too. I mean, every interaction we've had with Chris Conley, in fact, so much so that I've got him signed up to do some of our shows with us at Top Golf starting on Monday.
Okay.
He'll be over there on Monday with us for Jags Report Live, Monday night, 7 o'clock. It's on CBS 47, but we invite you all out to come to the show, hopefully after a win over Kansas City, his former team. But Conley's an interesting guy from a lot of different perspectives, and he's been really good in the month of August. You could tell the chemistry is there with Foles. Now, can he put it on and make it happen on Sundays to some big performances. We'll see what happens. You think he actually has a real chance to exploit Kansas City's defense on Sunday?
Absolutely, yeah. I think if they're going to be vulnerable, it's going to be, at that second corner spot. That's probably who he's going to command the attention from. And I think it's what we've seen in OTAs and in training camp where they like to run the go route with him. He has the speed. And don't forget, there's a storyline here, Brent. He's a former Kansas City Chief. And I think every once in a while, I think some coaches try to play that a little bit as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a couple play actions and they try to go deep with Chris Conley.
Hey, let's welcome in Marcel Robinson for a moment. Shades were on earlier. Put them back on. And first of all, a special, 904 Day was yesterday in Duval.
Oh, no.
Also, Marcel Robinson's birthday.
Oh, was it really? Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday.
Yes, the secret is out.
You've been stuck with the gremlin all week, huh?
I have. I'm so excited for them to go back to school tomorrow. I don't know if anyone has seen my Twitter page or not, but I posted a video of a song I made up about her going back to school, and she was not having it.
Oh, she wasn't impressed, huh?
Ariana is
She actually attacked me.
Marcel's daughter, and she's been hanging out. But when we said happy birthday, she just jumped up and down like she was fist pumping.
She didn't even know yesterday was my birthday.
She didn't?
She didn't know. Someone reminded her, and she overheard them say that yesterday was my birthday.
I have a lot of respect for you because, you know me, I'm not a huge birthday guy.
Right.
And so you don't make a big deal out of your birthday. That's a few notches in your belt.
Just another day of the week.
What is this? Oh, happy birthday. I thought this was going to be the song that you... I didn't hear.
Yeah,
I've
I don't know where Kuz is going with this. I have too. It's just, it's really, it's kind of like an Enya version of this.
My
happy
grandparents used
song.
to have an organ.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
So do we, man. My grandparents had organ too. Yeah.
And so I would play the organ sometimes.
Did you really?
And is this off an organ? It sure sounds like it.
Here's the real question.
It's literally the first thing that popped up.
Did your grandparents have an accordion?
No. I want to say, though, in my house, we might have had an accordion at one time. See, my mom's a musician.
Yeah, of course. That's what I was getting at.
We had some goofy stuff like a cello.
Okay.
My dad had that or wanted to try it out or something.
Yep.
And
nice.
So we might have had an accordion for a little bit. Like I never even have held one.
Sure.
But what I wanted when I was a kid was the harmonica.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought the harmonica was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know how they do that.
And it's one of those things.
I tried and I couldn't do it.
But it's one of those things as a kid where you play it and you feel like, oh, yeah, I'm like the next Bob Dylan. But there's actually like some skill involved in hitting the right notes.
Instead, it just becomes a very annoying
I would just
instrument.
play it and I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm basically Bob Dylan now. It's all good.
I actually have a friend. She knows how to play a harmonica. When I went to visit her in Augusta over the summer, she played, I don't remember what the song was, but she played a full-on song. And I was quite impressed because there was some adult beverage involved.
Oh.
And I was still able to recognize the song.
That's pretty good. That's impressive. All right, hey, you are struggling over there with the fantasy football league. You're the commissioner
right now.
of the football league, and we can't even draft.
So what happened was...
What is going on here?
So what happened was, for whatever reason, the order that invited people to join this league is the order that there will be drafting. Because I can't have my own draft that I set up for, the draft order.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, the app didn't take it. And now the only way to change the draft order is if I cancel out of this whole thing and then postpone the draft for like another 2 hours, which I don't want to do. So unfortunately, I'm drafting first now because I was the first one to join up. So is what it is.
I couldn't even sign in for some reason. So we're going to do it in the next couple of seconds.
I have issues with that. That just throws off my whole draft strategy.
Hey, yeah,
I don't have a draft strategy.
With that.
It is what it is, man. I don't know what to tell you unless you want me to just delete this whole thing and start over. But
I kind of do.
So just so he doesn't get. Listen, yesterday was his birthday, not today. Anyway, I don't care. I don't have a draft strategy. I don't even know who I'm picking or would pick in the first round, but we're just going to go with it. And I assume there's going to be some help on the app where it will say, here's the next best player. I'll point you in this direction. Thank you very much.
Yep.
But if you have some fantasy football questions, today's the day for them. ** 690. Who do you want to play? I've had Trubisky versus a bunch of different players. I thought it was good. Trubisky versus Mahomes. Mm-hmm. We both said Mahomes yesterday.
Mahomes all day.
But then I got another one yesterday. It was Trubisky versus playing Matt Ryan against Minnesota's defense. That one I said Trubisky.
Trubisky playing who's the other? I'm sorry.
Matt Ryan's playing Minnesota Vikings. I get it. You're all in shambles right now.
No, it's all good. Yeah, but
this is why I don't put you in charge of the show, by the way.
I'm taking Matt Ryan.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm taking Matt
hard
Ryan
about
over
it.
Yeah.
But Minnesota's defense, like the Jags defense,
They're good.
I also think this: the Falcons start slow. You can attest to this.
They do.
Falcons are not they have been disappointing in the early games, haven't they?
Yeah.
If my memory serves me right.
It usually there are some outliers where they'll put up a good 21 like the first quarter or so, but then they won't score to the fourth. But typically that is kind of the mantra is they'll kind of get down the first quarter and then all of a sudden the floodgates open and the barrage of points come.
But I mean, Marcel, more so from a September standpoint.
Oh, yes,
I feel like
definitely.
they've started slow these last few years.
Yeah. No, the Pats, ever since that, Super Bowl debacle, it's kind of been, the way that all the seasons have gone for the most part. Just kind of out for whatever reason. I don't know whether it's because there's been obviously coordinator changes, pretty regularly, but for whatever reasons, midway through the season is really when they start peaking.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got a bigger hangover than Kuz, which is saying a lot. By the way, Schefter tweeting out, John Gruden declined to answer questions on Antonio Brown, said the team will have an announcement later.
Interesting.
He's getting suspended.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, Brent. If he gets suspended, he loses his $30 million.
Not necessarily.
No?
Well, I mean, it could be a game suspension. Listen, one thing about Gruden, I think he's very player-friendly, right?
Mm-hmm. But this isn't really Gruden. This is more Mayock's thing,
He's
right?
got to stick with Mayock on this. They're a team. I understand that. I'm just saying I don't know if what's going to come down is a 6-game suspension or a suspension that, hey, we're taking off. I don't think they're that far down the road. I'd be surprised at this. I know there's some speculation they could take away his millions of dollars because of breach of the contract and the language in the contract. I get it. Much like the Jaguars did with some of the guarantees of Leonard Fournette last year. Mm-hmm. So there's possibility for that, but I don't think that's just like, hey, let's take a look at that contract right now. We're going to announce that in an hour. Yeah. I don't think it's that kind of thing. I think that one takes a little bit more of a deep dive. So I'd be surprised if anything like that comes out. I think what you're going to see is a suspension, and I think you're going to get like a game suspension. I don't think this is going to carry over too far. I think they'll say it could be indefinite, at least a 1-game suspension, and we're going to reevaluate next week. They could do that. That's unusual. But with Antonio Brown, don't you almost have to do that? Let's see if he shows up. Let's see if he tries to punch me in the face. Let's see if he wants to wear a helmet to play football. I know. You almost have to do that.
We have to ask the question, too, how much of a distraction is this to the Oakland Raiders right now? I mean, you're getting ready to play your first game, and you're not sure if Antonio Brown's going to be playing or not, your most important offensive piece. I mean, that's from a distraction. I mean, I get it, Brent. This isn't like college. I mean, this is a bunch of grown men playing the game of football, but it's still a distraction.
I'd rather have missed a practice for a hurricane than have to deal with Antonio Brown stuff. Let's just say that.
There you go.
And on top of, I will always say this, though, and I point this out a bunch. The Dallas Cowboys, the New York Giants, the Oakland Raiders, teams like that are full of distractions. That's just the way they are. It's almost like if they were normal, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
And so I think they're equipped to handle distractions, even though you do have a newer GM and a coach that's been out of the game for a little bit. I think they're equipped to handle it because they're almost used to it. It's just part of playing for the Oakland Raiders. Going to Napa Valley before the season starts and having some wine as a Raider alum, it's part of playing for and part of being an Oakland Raider. If you want a distraction, well, it's part of being an Oakland Raider. You're going to get distractions. And what they did is they welcomed on a bunch more of them with Antonio Brown. All right, hey, we're going to try to get this fantasy football thing loaded up.
T-minus 4
ready?
minutes. Yeah, Marcel, you're picking last now. Sorry.
That's unacceptable.
I don't know what you want me to do, man.
That is false.
Hey, the great part of that is really a birthday gift. You get to pick twice in a row, don't you?
Yeah,
I will say. Yeah, I was going to say. I will say.
So you're welcome.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
I like that. I like that little swing
That's
deal.
what I'm
where
saying.
You get to
I
pick
don't like
twice.
picking first.
Yeah,
I don't
first, then
pick
you got to wait for 20 minutes.
I've actually never picked first in a fantasy football draft.
Well, it's not going to be today either.
I've actually always been last. So.
Well, I'm glad to carry on that tradition for you. Sorry something got messed up here on the app, but there's nothing I can do. Sorry.
All right, we're going to do this, but we are going to talk more sports, people. We got a little balling and falling. We welcome your conversation as well. What do you think about Sunday with the Jags? What do you think about fantasy football? Do you have any questions? What do you think about tonight's game? Get into it. Got a little college football ahead. Got a little fantasy football ahead. Balling and falling to go. Let's see if we can fire this thing up. It's all on ESPN 690. Thanks for hanging with us on a Thursday afternoon in Jacksonville, Florida.
Action Sports Jags with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Sunshine today, and it'll be hot as Dorian moves away. We soar into the mid-90s this afternoon. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McNeil from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th with 22 total events and over $1.3 million in guarantees. The $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble will host 30 of the most acclaimed celebrities from around the world. Knock out any of the celebrity bounties and get $2,500 on the spot. Take part in all the glory and fame at this year's WPT Series. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjax.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Over 300 children in Northeast Florida are currently undergoing cancer treatments. 84% of families whose child is tackling cancer will experience some level of financial hardship. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, which is represented by the Gold Ribbon. Find out more about how you can go gold with the Tom Coughlin J Fund to help our neighbors and community members tackling this devastating disease. Visit tcjfund.org/go gold for more info.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau, and let me be your party planner. How does this sound? 18 holes at the golf club at Southampton, followed by your fantasy football draft party. Golf and football, and oh yeah, food. Southampton has it all, including a special tailgate catering menu all fall. Call 287-PLAY. That's 287-PLAY to set up golf, your fantasy football party at the clubhouse, and give Lisa a call for your tailgate catering. 287-PLAY, and see the menu at golfsouthampton.com.
Is today the day it'll finally stop raining?
We sure hope so, but it's been a very wet summer so far. This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Don't forget, your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Here at Big Fish Roofing, as an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we are locally owned and we drive our business with quality and integrity. We do not require any down payments until your roof project is complete. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing. We are the roofers you can trust. We are Big Fish Roofing.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Super Sales Event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Camry, it's not $26,000. Now it's only $17,988. That's $17,988 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $22,000. No way. Now it's just $13,888. Just $13,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase, and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The rivalry continues this weekend. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
Hey, it's Mike Gold from Gold Wingo. You're listening to Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane. Give the guys a call. Grab your cell phone and call *690. This is ESPN 690.
What kind of commissioner is this? Hey, I'm already auto-drafting.
The rails have fallen. The train is off the track.
Just let you know you have 30 seconds left to make your pick in the first round.
I mean, I signed into this thing yesterday. This thing.
So first of all, Brent not being able to sign into his account is not a commissioner problem. That's a Brent Martineau problem.
I'm convinced you have two accounts.
You saw me sign in yesterday.
I did. I think you have two accounts going on. And that's what's going. Like, that's the issue here.
Did you sign it with like the ESPN Plus one?
Oh, it doesn't matter now. You're about to get a player in 5 seconds.
Tell me who I take.
DeAndre Hopkins,
I'll
probably.
just host the damn show.
Yeah, you just host the show, man.
I need some tequila.
Brent, you got DeAndre Hopkins. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Golly. Come on.
Congratulations.
That's Jalen Ramsey's kid. I got DeAndre Hopkins as my first pick.
Yeah.
You like that?
It's all right. I'm not mad at that pick.
That's not where I would have gone.
Yeah, you saw David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell available if you want to roll the dice a little bit.
I'm not rolling on Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you're going to be rolling on some picks coming up here because
This is ridiculous. I can't believe I can't get in here. I'm going to have to keep working on it.
By the way, this is Brent's idea to do this whole thing, and now the guy can't even log into his own fantasy football account.
I
The
did
wheels have
yesterday.
fallen
I don't
off.
know what's
I know,
going
man.
on.
I don't know what to tell
Actually,
you.
somehow I was just logged in. I had like Milwaukee Bucks and stuff as the favorites.
So, yeah.
I was under your login.
So, somehow
but
you're
it's in my name.
I know. I have no idea what's going
What
on.
have
in
you
this
done
show.
to my computer while I've been away?
I'm putting champions in your computer, Brent. I'm putting champions of
those
Milwaukee
Brewers,
Bucks.
what are they, 7 back?
We're about 4 or 5 back. Don't worry about it. Plenty of baseball left. Doing better than the Mets right now. That's all I know.
Give me your tactic. Come on. If anybody, I would imagine most people have drafted.
Yes.
I mean, the game start tonight.
Yep.
So we're a little late in the game.
Yeah.
But what's the tactic? We're in a half-point PPR.
Yep.
Did I say that right?
Correct.
That's the most impressive thing I've done in 9 months on the show.
Yeah.
And we're in a 10-team league.
Mm-hmm.
No keeper league. Obviously, it's a new league. What's the play? You got to go get running backs and receivers?
Running backs and receivers, I always line it up. And listen, I'm no fantasy football expert by any means, but I have one of the past 2 years. I have one of the past 2 years in a 12-team league. So I kind of know my thing a little bit. But the biggest advice I have for anybody is that when you're picking your team, look at who's capable of scoring the most points of that team. So, for instance, I think the Rams are going to score a lot of points this year. I think the Saints are going to score a lot of points this year. I think the Chiefs are going to score a lot of points. So once you start establishing what teams are going to score the most points, then you start picking the players from there.
All right. What's the last picks?
Last picks
Kicker,
are either
defense. Why do I always feel like when I used to play a lot more, and I haven't played fantasy football in a long time. Backstory here is when I was in Albany, those guys wanted to play every fantasy. We played fantasy NASCAR, fantasy golf, fantasy baseball, fantasy basketball, fantasy football. I was like, what am I doing with my life? and I couldn't keep up with half of it.
Sure.
But when I played, though, I remember the defense always coming up big for me. Like if you had a good defense, you could rack up the points. Like you look at some of the defenses in the NFL: Chicago, the Jaguars, Minnesota Vikings, maybe Seattle. Now,
so
I mean, they were racking up points. Did they change kind of the mode of operation over the years?
Here's how I've made my money in fantasy football. There's two schools of thought, Brent. Either you ride and die with one defense, like the Jaguars, the Bears, or you stream defenses. I'm a streamer.
Okay.
So
You
what
pick
I do
one up
is
every week.
I pick one up every single week. I kind of dictate it off matchups and the quarterback that they're playing against, and that's why I pick my defense from there.
All right. Marcel Robinson, are you on the clock? You're last. What's been done in our fantasy league? I want to keep updated. I can't even see this now.
You're asking a lot.
I am
of
an
me
auto
right now.
drafter.
I've got Bell and Connor.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You already got 2 guys?
Yeah, I picked twice.
It's going fast, Brent.
This thing's flying by. Do I have another player yet? Can you tell me?
You're about to pretty soon. Yeah.
This is embarrassing.
Sorry, man. I don't.
I hope I get Fournette. Fournette's going to have a big year.
You have Hopkins and Thomas.
Can you be more specific?
Mike Thomas,
sorry.
Not the guy that caught the Hail Mary in Jacksonville.
No.
The Saints guy.
Best play in Jaguars
$100
history.
million.
Talking about? That was a part of. You better believe it.
All right, Michael Thomas, not bad. I'm receiver heavy.
Yeah, you're very receiver heavy.
Michael Thomas caught like 125 balls last year. That's good.
He did, yeah. He I think he led the league in receptions. Probably slated to do it again this year. So you got like that, Brent. Score, like I said, scoring points. Saints scoring a lot of points this year.
I'm going to win on an auto draft in this damn league. That's what's going to happen here.
I like your style.
Hey, do you have time to do bowling and falling?
I do have time. Well, you want to go first because I'm about to pick here. 10 seconds, I'm picking again.
Oh, I can't wait. You got to take us through your pick. What are you thinking?
For my next pick?
Yeah.
I'm thinking championships, Brent. I'm looking at a running back here, and it's between Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a big year, so I'm taking Dalvin Cook.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems a little early.
For the
I feel like
second
you
round?
could have got Dalvin Cook in like the 4th round.
You'd be surprised. And also, I should just mention right
You're
now.
playing with a bunch of people who have no idea what they're doing.
Obviously,
Marcel
because
included,
our
Kuz
boss,
definitely.
listen, I don't want to out anybody out right now because there's still plenty of draft left, but our boss, Nick, with his with his first pick at pick number 8, took Patrick Mahomes, and then in some kind of quarterback limbo, took it upon himself in the 2nd round to draft Deshaun Watson. So I'm not really sure what's going on here with.
He said he might roadblock all the good quarterbacks. He might just pick 4
good luck with that
quarterbacks.
strategy and see how it pays off for you. You keep in mind, you can only play one quarterback at a time. So,
all right,
interesting
are you on the
strategy.
clock?
Who? Me?
I'm on the clock again.
He's on the clock.
You can't do this. I told you this was going to be a disaster. Hey, I'm going to go with my ball, and this is a shout-out for you, Kuz, okay? We're going to mention a little basketball on the show.
Oh, nice.
53-point win for the American team. They could be getting a lot of heat. We're going to kill them for the next few weeks, probably. They're not going to win. They're going to sneak by teams.
Austin's going to be pumped. We're up against Giannis
I know,
now.
now Giannis in Greece.
Good luck.
So who are you pulling for?
I'm pulling for country always comes
Putting you in
before
a tough
fandom.
spot.
No, country always comes before fandom. I'm going Team USA all day. But I hope Giannis has like 100 points.
As long as USA has 101.
Yeah, there we go. Exactly.
That was a good, they needed something like that. Take a little heat off them. That's what they should do. They beat Japan 98-45. So I'll go a little balling. I'll go outside the box and a little basketball, even though it's a football day.
Ballin', I'm going Cam Newton. And this isn't really quarterback related, Brent. This is more wide receiver related. Cam Newton just set the Guinness Book of World Records for the most one-handed catches with 51 in 60 seconds, breaking Jarvis Landry's previous record of 48. Marcel, I feel like we could maybe give if we're on the same page. Look, I turn to Marcel. He looks at me. I think we're on the same page right now.
Anybody we've ever had in our sports department thinks they could break this record. Drew Copley feels like he could do it. He used to be here before Marcel with us in our sports department. Okay. You probably don't know Drew.
I don't.
But he was here for a couple years, and he's a pretty good athlete, younger guy, and he would say he could do the same. And Marcel's here to probably say he could do the same thing. You a one-handed catch guy, though, Marcel?
Fire up the jug machine.
Well, can you use a jugs machine, or does that have to be someone throwing you the ball?
Well, this was throwing the ball. These were
probably,
soft.
Yeah.
These were not like. This was not like. The Cam Newton was.
Yeah.
It was softballs.
I actually did a video a few years back. I was kind of in the arena messing with Tiger Jones, formerly of the Jacksonville Sharks in the Arena League, and we had a little competition that involved catching balls one-handed. I don't know how many I had in a minute. I'll have to go back and check, but if I can get someone to toss me the rock, we can knock these records down.
All right, Cam Newton does that. I want to also say, I should have said this, and I wanted to do this, and then I kind of forgot about it, lost in all the fantasy football. But did you see the Michael Lorenzen Babe Ruth feat?
No, I didn't.
Did you see that happen?
No, hit me with it.
It's hard to go do something Babe Ruth's done.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
So the first one to do it since he's a pitcher. He earned the win, played in the outfield, and hit a home run. He's the first player in Major League Baseball history to accomplish that in the same game since Babe Ruth did it in 1921, which is really wild. Now, you just kind of throw it in, played in the outfield. But still pretty impressive. That got the win, hit a home run. That's been done multiple times, but now play in the outfield. I was shocked that had not been done before since Babe Ruth in 100 years. It was 100 years ago, 98.
Didn't the guy from the Angels,
Ohtani? Well, hasn't pitched and played the outfield in the same game.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So he would pitch and then they would just sit him?
We're talking about the same game. Well, you could either DH or you pitch and then when you come out, you come out. You don't go play the field.
That must have been what I was thinking
of. So I think it's been done like a guy's pitched and played the outfield or a guy's pitched and hit a home run. Yeah. But he hasn't done all three in the same game.
Gotcha.
So there's a little balling as well, a little extra balling on the schedule today.
Fallen. A helicopter covering the Vuelta a Spain.
Is this balling or fallen?
I think it's fallen because, someone's going to lose their stash or take it for what you want. But a helicopter covering the Vuelta a Spain, which is a big bike race. Basically, they're covering stage 8, and during the final kilometer, a helicopter was flying by. There was a live feed, and cops seemed to notice something crazy in the live feed, and it was basically 2 plots on top of 2 buildings that were growing a giant marijuana farm. And the authorities obviously got a hold of this film, figured out where the plots were, and arrests were made, and they also salvaged the stuff. So, I guess it's fallen or maybe balling for the authorities, fallen for anybody that was growing it.
Are they ever going to be able to find them, though? It was like on the side of a hill, like in the random. It wasn't like, it didn't look like it was a property.
People talk, Brent. People talk.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess I was reading up on that, though. In Spain, there are some rules that allow for plants to be grown.
Okay.
I didn't know the specifics of it, but this one, because it was widespread and it was on the side of a hill or something, I don't know. But how bizarre is that?
Very.
And I don't know if you mentioned it, but that was like a cycling event.
Yeah,
I had to read like 4 paragraphs into that story to see what are you even talking about? What
they
is
were
this?
just trying to monitor this bike race, and all of a sudden they come across this giant stash.
That's
Insane.
great.
Yeah.
That's I bet that's happened quite a bit, not like in marijuana terms, but things that have been seen on camera that might lead to somebody doing something wrong, and an arrest potentially. Well, how many times that's happened in sports?
Probably can count on one hand. I feel like now it's going to happen a lot more with like the technology of.
Well, yeah, and you also have to
recording.
have like kind of. This was like outside because it's cycling.
Yeah,
it's not like at an indoor stadium.
Yeah.
So I guess it has to kind of play into that too. We'll get you up to date with our fantasy football draft, where I've probably 5 players on my team and I have no idea who they are. I'm auto drafting as we speak. What a joke this is. More to come on ESPN 690.
It's Golick and Wingo.
Timmy Kirkchin, our fine Major League Baseball analyst. Aaron Boone, he talked about it, maybe a mercy rule at some point.
It makes a little bit of sense now. But I'm worried where we are right now that there are so many blowouts. That's just not healthy for the game. So I know what Boone's talking about here. I don't think it'll get any traction, but I guarantee you somebody's going to ask that question within the Major League Baseball offices.
Golick and Wingo, weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th, and there's no better time to lock up your seat in the main event than right now. You will find satellites into the $5,000 buy-in main event for as little as $120. Satellites are going on now. Get ready to take your shot at $1 million prize pool in the WPT main event. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Mellow Mushroom Jack's Beach, Mellow Mushroom Avondale, and Mellow Mushroom Southside.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Shop the 904.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904.
Local businesses are also the ones who give more back to the community by supporting local charities and sponsoring your kids' sports teams.
This holiday season, when you shop the 904, you're also giving the gift of helping your local community stay unique.
Sure, it's tempting to try to save a few bucks shopping the giant online or national retailers, but those few bucks you save would do more for our local economy if you shop local.
Shop the 904 and help keep our community unique.
Shop the 904.
Really thinking that he might go to the Clippers just because we weren't hearing anything about the Clippers, and real G's move in silence, and Kawhi Leonard isn't.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Do real G's move in silence?
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stu Gunn. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
All right, who's on my team? Let's update people. I know they really want to know who my team is.
Yeah.
I know I got Kerryon Johnson. I have 3 receivers. Keenan Allen. DeAndre Hopkins.
Mike Thomas. Yeah, good
Can we call him
receivers.
Michael Thomas? It's not Mike Thomas. It's
Okay, Michael Thomas. Your running backs are, I've seen better. You got Kerryon Johnson and Aaron Jones. Here's hoping that Aaron Jones stays healthy this season.
Green Bay, right?
Yeah, he's had some injury
playing
concerns.
tonight.
He's playing tonight, so there you go, Brent.
He's going for 4 touchdowns tonight, baby, against the Bears.
Okay.
It's the best auto draft ever.
Let's just stay healthy first, and we'll see.
This is great because I have the ultimate excuse now. I didn't draft this team.
But then if you win it,
I'll ride that wagon all the way to the winner's circle.
Okay. Fair enough.
Now it's going to come down to me making some quality moves. Be the GM.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Trade up.
Yeah.
Trade back.
And if you want, you don't go sign AB
in free agency.
You know who's going to be really disappointed with this? Is Ty.
Oh, for real?
He's going to be really disappointed. When I tell him my team, he'll be like, really?
You should have had him draft.
I should have.
Well, I'm sure he knows how to log into a fantasy app.
Man,
dude?
I tell you what,
blocked me out. There was a big joke in all this where you blocked me out.
Yeah, as a commissioner, I took it upon myself to block out whose idea this was in the first place. No, man, I don't know what happened. I feel bad because I want you to be part of this. I can't predict you. Blackballed you from the league. Okay. Well, unless you prove this in a court of law, we'll see you week 1, Brent. All right.
Wow, I have walked into something. You guys didn't warn me when I was coming up here. You should have really told me. I mean, this is insanity. We've got people everywhere.
Dorian was nothing.
This was Dorian. 12 hours a day at Dorian was nothing. Thank you.
All right, welcome in a little TV timeout. John Bachman finally can make some time for us.
Yeah.
Get off the TV. You get enough FaceTime the last couple of days?
I don't know, but Burrish and I were arm wrestling, and he seemed to win the last 2 weeks.
He certainly got enough FaceTime.
He did.
You know, there is a time in our business, and John can speak to this, and we do so many shows in the fall, or maybe it's on a game day, right, where you do some live hits in the morning, maybe at noon, and then do the radio show for 3 hours, and then go do the sportscast, and then a half-hour pregame show, and then the sidelines, and then a postgame show, and more TV.
Yeah.
And it's like you get done, you're like, I don't ever want to go on TV again.
Sure.
Like, I don't ever want to talk about sports again.
Just burnt out.
Like, not really, but it's just like, I'm done talking. You can tell, like, you're done talking. I've talked too much for one day. I need a refresh button. And I'm sure you guys are kind of in that mode after the last 10 days, but really the last few days.
Well, yeah, I mean, we it's really been 2 weeks. I mean, it really has been 2 weeks. If you're talking about Dorian, but look, I've been telling everybody, there's nothing to complain about. And everybody in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, we have nothing to complain about. When you look at the damage done in the Bahamas, and we're not even understanding the full scope of the damage there yet, because frankly, nobody's been able to fully assess the damage because it's that bad.
And that's what says a lot.
It is. I mean, there are parts of islands wiped off the map. It is that bad. And North Carolina right now is getting blasted kind of the way some feared Northeast Florida would. There were tornadoes on Emerald Isle this afternoon. And there was a warning in Cumberland County, North Carolina, shortly after that. So I mean, it's spawning all kinds of damage up there that easily could have happened here, and so it is what it is. Perspective is key here, I think, for everybody to be grateful that, yes, it was annoying that we spent all this time talking about it. I'm exhausted. You're exhausted. Everybody's exhausted. But we've got our stuff.
It dodged a bullet, man.
We did.
It could have been really bad. It could have been at least worse than it was, at the very least.
Right.
And I think what you said about the Bahamas is important. And once again, this would be a good time to remind you. We had Coach Yo on, used to be the women's basketball coach at JU, now at Ole Miss, and she joined us. She's a native of the Bahamas. Her family's still there. A lot of her family's still there, and she's raising money. And so we'll share the information. GoFundMe page, Coach Yo. Type that in, and you can help her raise money for her native land and try to help the folks out in the Bahamas. But I thought you brought up a good point of, I said to Austin when we got on Tuesday that you're not seeing video out of there because you're not seeing anything out of it. I mean, I shouldn't say anything. We've seen video, but we have not seen some video and some pictures because it's hard to get to. That was 2 days ago. I think it's still the case 48 hours later.
Without question. There are no, I think there's one landing strip that the military and Coast Guard have basically been using to get people in and out of there. They're, using helicopters to some degree, but it's going to be weeks before we can fully grasp the devastation. But that tells you how bad it really is. Now, a couple things real quickly. Coming up on Action News Jax at 5 on CBS 47. We worked it out. We're back on Dish, so everybody can watch us again. So we really hope your Dish customers will come and watch us again on CBS 47. But coming up at 5 o'clock, there are some plenty of families here who have connections to folks. You were mentioning the coach. We talked to one where their family down there survived more than a day hanging to a tree to survive the flooding. This woman and her 2 children. I mean, the stories are. It's going to be endless. It's going to be endless. But this is going to be one that hits home because it's a family of local folks here in Jacksonville. And then to piggyback off your fundraising, Action News Jack's Family Focus is going to have a convoy of care coming up on Tuesday at the town center. I think it's going to be in the usual spot there in the roundabout by Maggiano's.
Right near Maggiano's.
We're going to be collecting supplies. There's a bunch of supplies. We've got all the information on actionnewsjacks.com. We just shot a promo for it. It's going to start running here shortly. But we're going to collect supplies. A friend of mine who runs sort of this private jet situation, he's getting a bunch of pilots together and planes together, and they're going to collect supplies and bring them down to as soon as they start opening up and can get in there. To your point, I mean, that's the other thing. There's still that I keep telling people there will be people who die waiting to be rescued from this storm. It's that bad. You know what I mean? There are so many people out there just clinging to trees and floating on tops of a building or whatever's left. Anyway, so
it's the death toll is what is it up to?
It's at 20 now, but that's just a glancing. I mean that will pay. Unfortunately, that can't be where it ends.
One more thought on that too. Like you said, it will be forever change. And Bahamas is a place where a lot of people go, and different parts of the islands, of course.
Mm-hmm,
The southern part of the Bahamas was
more or less spared. Yeah, no, there are a lot of places that are okay right now.
Yeah. But if you look at some of the aerials, and this is what I really thought when that storm sat there, and it'll be interesting to see if this is the case, and unfortunate, is that it almost will feel like parts of the Bahamas are like a sunken ship.
Yes, and that's what it's going to be. I mean, some of these islands that were 30 feet above sea level had 25 feet of storm surge go over and wash over them, along with 185, 200 mile an hour wind.
You can see from
2 days.
Crazy. You can see from the aerials that there are buildings underwater.
Yeah,
like buildings. They are structures. They're not just like concrete. Like parking lots or anything. I'm talking like actual structures underwater, and it looks like a few feet underwater. It's just devastating. And now it goes up to the Carolinas. We've done this a lot around here.
Mm-hmm.
We've had devastation and we've had issues. We still haven't had a direct hit.
No.
And it's
Matthew wasn't a direct hit, and it did a lot of damage.
And it's prime time for hurricane season still for the next month.
Yeah.
It's amazing the geography of where we are in Northeast Florida that preserves us from getting a direct hit, right? You got to go back to Dora.
Dora in 1964, I believe, was the last direct hit, and there's good science behind it. If you look at a map and you look at where things flow and all of that, I mean, Mike Burrish is the expert in all this, and he'd do much better at this. But the bottom line is, Jacksonville's inland. I mean, it's kind of like
we're due south of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, I mean,
think about that.
Right, exactly. And then you think, well, the first state to get the most hurricanes direct hits is Florida for obvious reasons. The next one, North Carolina. Look at a map. There's a reason for that. The conveyor belt of warm water runs basically right to North Carolina. That's how it works, and that's why it is the way it is. And so, Jacksonville hasn't had one, and thankfully, a long, long time. Now, obviously, Matthew did a lot of damage, and it was only about 50, 60 miles off our coast. Irma did a lot of damage as it went up the spine of Florida.
Yeah.
And so there's certainly a lot of damage that can be had out of there without getting a direct hit. But Jacksonville's fortunate, and I think that's a great thing for Jacksonville.
Yeah,
clearly.
you can, by the way, check out our Action News Jacks, I think, Facebook page, and you'll probably have this tonight. But how about the video in, I think it was North Carolina, of the car?
Oh, that was South Carolina, of the Jeep Cherokee sitting on the beach. Is that what you're talking about?
Ocean?
Yeah, ridiculous. I mean, somebody drove on the beach right as the hurricane's coming out, and shockingly, that didn't work out well.
Like,
even though it's trail rated, it's probably
I saw it was started, but part of that is that once it starts happening, the sand kind of collects around it and kind of protects it a little bit. So the last I'd seen, anyway, it hadn't washed away. Now that was a couple hours ago, so I don't know for sure.
People are really dumb sometimes.
Yes.
They really are.
We all have our moments, Brett.
It's crazy, man. I feel like the hurricanes bring out like the crazy people sometimes, right? Like every single time you watch like a newscast of a hurricane, there's someone wearing a horse mask or like one of those T-Rex costumes.
You saw a couple of those at the beach yesterday.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, listen,
one of those things.
It's good to find some light moments and humor, and there's adventure in everybody. But then it borders on stupidity at times and idiocy, and
there's
that's
a fine line sometimes. There's a fine line between bravery and stupidity, I think is how it goes. So. Yeah. Anyway, so we've got look, we also have some good stuff coming up. As you talk about lighthearted stuff, we talked to a guy who strapped down his roof. Remember that down there in Ponte Vedra Beach? It worked. I mean, now again, the storm didn't quite have a full impact here, so it's hard to say if it really worked. But His house is still there.
Put that one in the lab.
And then we also had, well, I've seen that idea done before, by the way. He's not the first to come up with it. Possibly the first to use a Cadillac as his anchor. That's the part that I liked. The battle wagon, he called it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I was wondering if that might have been he might have wanted to save that so he could get out if he needed to, but that's just me. And then we had the lady who plastic wrapped her house.
Yes.
And again, the water didn't get up high enough to where you could really test it, but for what she had, it worked. So, but anyway, so it's good stuff.
Creativity.
Yeah, right.
Style
exactly.
points.
Yes.
All
but
right.
listen, we're also going to be talking Jags today too, because we're all like, I'm sure everybody in Jacksonville's very eager. Especially, we're all eager because it's the first game, but we're especially eager because we've been doing nothing but talking about Dorian. I cannot wait to talk about the Jags in our newscast tonight. I cannot wait.
That's a good segue. We're going to talk a little more Jags coming up. And by the way, tonight, Jaguars All Access at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Jeff Lageman, myself, Ashlyn Sullivan, and Rasheed Mathis will join us. The Jaguars, again, messing around with their schedule because of Dorian. So Calais Campbell will not be there tonight. We'll get back to regularly scheduled program next week. But Rasheed Mathis will join
I like
us.
that, man.
7 o'clock on CBS on Fox 30. That show's on Fox 30. I got to keep these in mind.
That dude has a killer truck, by the way.
Rasheed Mathis?
Oh, yeah, man.
Never
that thing
seen
is
it.
bad.
What does he got?
Oh, it's like a dually. It's big and mean, and it's awesome.
Okay.
That would take the Storm Tracker to task right there. Ask him about his truck. Make sure he still has it.
Parking can be a little touchy down there in Avondale.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to see how he handles that.
Yeah, well, maybe he's changed. Maybe he doesn't have it anymore. You have to ask him. Hey, real quickly before I go, answer me this, Nick. But you guys have already talked about Nick Foles and his abdomen injury or whatever. Is he all right? What happened there?
They just have to list stuff. He was sore a little bit last week, and that's it. They had to put something on the injury report yesterday, even though they didn't practice. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. Well, why do you? Okay. Well, that's an off-air conversation. But what? I mean, how does? Okay, he didn't get hit, did he?
No, but you could tweak something. I guess.
No, basically what you're trying to ask though is why would they report something that's so insignificant?
If it's insignificant.
That's just kind of the NFL protocol.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, you got to do it.
You have to do it.
So he's going to be all right. He's still going to go deep for 3 or 4 touchdowns on Sunday.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's the thing with the NFL. Even if you get something iced, you have to report it.
Okay. All right. I got you. Okay.
I would put too much stake into it.
Okay, good.
Check out John on CBS 47 at Fox 30 tonight at 5, and we'll ice down this fantasy draft and talk more Jags next on ESPN 6 night. I've said to people, I've said on air, I think the next 5 to 8 years will decide if Jacksonville wants to be Birmingham or if they want to be Charlotte.
Shortly after ShotCon took over ownership and said, I want to redevelop the shipyards. The reason he wants to do that is a vibrant downtown, a vibrant sports complex, according to Khan, is something that the team needs to stay viable and sustainable financially. So the shipyards have really kind of started and stopped, but what we have now is one part of that.
Action Sports Jacks, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Hey everybody, this is Austin Lane. I used to wear number 92, and while it's a great number, 94 just might be better.
That's because Vida de Luis recently got a 94 rating. Hey, this is Brent Martineau. Vida de Luis is a locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vida de Luis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste.
For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLuis.com.
Leave your troubles ashore. Live the island life with the citrus of the sea. Vida de Luis tequila. Must be at least 21 to drink. Drink responsibly.
The following message is sponsored by the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hurricanes can cause severe damage to your home or property, so if you need storm repairs, make sure you use only Florida licensed contractors. Remember to check their references, get everything in writing, and don't pay up front. To verify your contractors are licensed, contact the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation online at myfloridalicense.com. That's myfloridalicense.com.
Beards Diamond's incredible 5 years, 0 interest with 0 down has been so popular, we're extending it till the end of September. Take advantage of Beards Diamond's already low prices. Then spread your payments out over 60 months. Shop Beards Diamonds.
Located at the St. John's Town Center.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Super Sales Event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Highlander, it's not $35,500. Now it's only $20,000 $24,888. That's $24,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Highlander at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota 4Runner? It's not $36,500. No way. Now it's just $28,888. Just $28,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota 4Runner at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golic and Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
I think it's time to let go.
23rd ranked Stanford at USC. Saturday at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
Hi, I'm Ryan Murphy, Olympic gold medalist. You're watching Action Sports Jacks. Yeah, I mean, you still have that little nervousness of going into the start of the season, but at the same time, just having the familiarity with what it is and what you need to go out there and accomplish is something that's different. Last year, you think you know, but you don't know until you get there. And this year, I kind of have that experience now of how you have to go out there and kind of weather the emotions early and then go out there and play a good football game.
That's Patrick Mahomes talking about really his first year last year versus stepping into this year.
Yeah.
Now, different expectations this year, too. It's tough to live up to the hype. Remember, I made a little bet with you.
Yep.
I don't think he'll throw 40 touchdown passes this year. We'll see. I just think people will try to take away the pass, even if they give up the running touchdowns or they'll try to take away these explosive plays. Things will be a little harder for the Chiefs than they've been. People spent all offseason trying to figure out the Kansas City Chiefs, in my opinion. That's what defensive coordinators around the league did.
I hear you on that, Brent, but I just think the Chiefs have so many weapons at their disposal where it's hard to take away every single one of those weapons. You know what I mean? Like, to be fair, you saw the Patriots do it to the Rams in the Super Bowl, right? I mean, the Rams were, where I like to use a lot is, the Rams pretty much got mollywopped on offense, right? Like, the Patriots defense shut them down. But if you look at the Chiefs, and we'll see if Williams is going to be the real deal at running back, or if they rely on LaShawn McCoy a little more, who's kind of, he's up there in age, may still have 1 or 2 good years left in him if he can stay healthy. But I think the Chiefs can beat you on every single level, where the Rams, I feel like they were lacking a little bit at the tight end spot. They had 2 pretty good wide receivers at the time. I think Cooper Kupp was out. When healthy, the Rams are good at wide receiver. But, dude, you look at the Chiefs, you got Sammy Watkins at wide receiver. You got Tyreek Hill at wide receiver, 2 bona fide studs. I mean, obviously, Tyreek Hill's the stud. Sammy Watkins is pretty good in his own right. Then you have Travis Kelce, who can, he can throw the ball to the middle of the field. And then, I think you have a backfield that is serviceable. So stopping all those kind of things, it's easy. Yeah, just go ahead and stop the weapons. All right, sounds good. But you have a lot of weapons to stop, and you have to ask yourself, do you have the talent on defense to do that week in and week out?
Well, and here's the deal. I think teams, their schedule indicates that they're playing some pretty good defenses. They start off with the Jacksonville Jaguars, of course, good defense. Oakland Raiders, meh, okay. The Ravens, pretty good defense.
Pretty good defense.
Detroit, meh. Indianapolis, they don't scare me on defense. They might be decent, but they don't scare me. Houston, pretty good defense, right? Denver, they play them twice. Good defense. Green Bay, no. Minnesota, good defense. Tennessee, plays pretty tough defense. It's kind of an underrated defense, to be honest with you. And I do it myself because I don't love their football team. But the Chargers,
great defense.
Play them twice.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots, they'll figure something out.
You're going to have to earn your points.
And they play the Chicago Bears, too. Yeah. So they play the Jags, the Chargers, the Bears, and the Broncos, and the Patriots. And from a defense, you think defense. About the only defense I'm leaving out is probably Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, they play the Ravens, considered a pretty good defense.
Yeah. Did you say Minnesota? I'm sorry.
They play Minnesota. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They play Minnesota.
Minnesota, too. Yeah.
They play the best defenses in the NFL.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
So I think from just a natural regression based off their schedule, plus teams figuring them out a little bit more, even with all the weapons.
Yeah.
And one thing about the weapons, and keep in mind, for teams to do well, you have to get what? Lucky. You have to stay healthy.
Of course. That's what it's all about.
I think last year they stayed pretty healthy. I don't know how many injuries they had, but I'm pretty sure they stayed relatively healthy last year on the offensive side of the football.
Of course. I mean, especially at their big play positions, and I think that's the problem you have when in a high-powered offense where if you have one of your star guys go down, that's kind of game over, as opposed to a high-powered defense where we've seen it with the Chargers every single year, Brent. It seems like one of their big stars goes down and they try to find a way to adjust, and they still have a pretty solid defense year in and year out. So in terms of injuries, I think you're more susceptible to having a lot less success with an injury on offense than you are with defense.
All right, I got a question. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
You played for Andy Reid.
Yeah.
We talked about how good he is in the beginning of the year. How good he is anyway. Guy doesn't get enough credit probably for being a really good football coach.
Yeah.
5-1 with Kansas City. You know his worst record? 5-1 in openers, that is. You know his worst record in Kansas City so far is 9-7.
Wow.
I mean, not bad.
Yeah,
right?
Not bad at all.
But the question in Philadelphia was, could he win the big one? Mm-hmm. And I think sooner or later that question will come in Kansas City. They're talented enough.
True.
Can he win the big one?
Yeah.
But you liked him a lot. Right?
I did.
You thought he was a good coach. You loved
him.
Playing for him.
I loved him, man. Yeah.
You played for him. Give us why did you like playing for him so much? And you have a fun Andy Reid story.
And keep in mind too here, Brent, where when we're talking about Andy Reid, I mean, I was only there for training camp, really. So like. For me to be that passionate about this dude, it kind of goes to show you he did really make a big impression on me. And the reason why, and not to say other coaches didn't either. Like, I mean, I was a fan of Coach Del Rio. I thought Malarkey was good, and I speak very highly of Mark Chessman. Like, knock on wood. Well, I'm not knock on wood. It doesn't matter anymore. But I've never really had a bad NFL head coach that I didn't really gel with, But the thing with Andy Reid that's so great is I think he understands who he is as a person. I think a lot of times in the NFL, in this toxic masculinity environment that has been created upon itself, coaches want to go out of their way and chew you out here or try to make it like more like a dictatorship than it's actually like a democracy. And Andy Reid doesn't believe that at all. Andy Reid is what you call a player's coach. He's not afraid to choose somebody out if they have to. But I hardly ever saw it. And when he spoke to you, when he broke down a team that you're going against, when he broke down a game plan, he spoke to you as he was just being himself. And who he is a guy that loves to wear like the beach, the beach polo shirts, like the Tommy Bahama stuff. He loves to wear sandals in the meetings, and he accepts that. He's not trying to be someone that he's not. And you know what, Brent? We don't talk about this enough, but NFL players, having dealt with egos in college and different upbringings and whatever it is, NFL players can see through BS, right? NFL players can see when guys aren't being genuine. And usually when that happens, especially in the whole coaching realms, you're going to clash with your players. Well, players can tell that Andy Reid is just who he is, and in doing that, you want to play harder for the guy because you respect him so much. Yeah, and that's just from a personality standpoint. Now, from an offensive-minded standpoint, Brent, I mean, this guy lives for the offensive side of the football. He lives for the quarterback position. He lives for breaking down film, game planning, and getting the guys that he thinks deserve the ball. I mean, that's what he's all about.
He's good at the chess match.
He's good at the chess match. Yeah,
and he likes ice cream.
He likes ice cream. Yeah. Well,
Give us the ice cream story.
Well, see, it wasn't ice cream for me. It was burgers. So, every away game that every game that we're at. So, obviously Saturday night we're in the hotel, whether it's a home or away game. And like I said, he's not the rah-rah, going to make up some kind of story to motivate you. Not at all. So, and I kid you not here. Now, I'm not sure anything anybody doesn't know. This is reported all around the place. But a traditional like Andy Reid, rah-rah speech would be him coming in. So we just, we watch our defensive meetings. Now we're all together, offensive, defense in the same meeting room. Andy Reid comes in his flip-flops, his Hawaiian shirt. All right, guys, so we got a game tomorrow. Let's get some sleep tonight. Let's look good, It's going to be a tough one. They're a good team, but I think I like the guys that we got in this room. I think we're all set up, ready to win, and I like our chances tomorrow. Oh, and by the way, I talked to the catering staff, and we have some cheeseburgers in here. This is real quality meat we're talking about here. This is real quality Kansas City brisket kind of patties here. And we have a variety of cheeses here you guys can try out as well. And then he would always break down, I'm not kidding, he would always break down the meeting. Like a team meeting, your last thing the coach is going to say to you before you go to the game the next day, he would always say, let's go have a cheeseburger on me. My treat. and he always said my treat. So he'd be like, let's go kick some, whatever tomorrow. Go have a cheeseburger on me, my treat. And that's how he broke down every single meeting, that I was there for. And from what I was told, because I talked to some of my former teammates, that's how he broke down every single meeting that entire year was, rah, whatever. So you got to say, but to close it out, let's go get a cheeseburger, my treat.
We got one more hour to go here on ESPN 690. Let's go have a cheeseburger on me.
My treat.
My treat. That's awesome. Good stuff. Fun stuff. I wonder if maybe that's why he can't win the big game. Do you need to go rah-rah in the big game? Super motivation before like the big play, you know what I mean?
I don't think, you know what? If you're in the AFC Championship game, I think you know what's at stake.
Yeah.
You really do.
That's how he treats him. I like that. I respect
and that's
that.
the thing. And let's be honest. If you're in the NFL and you need a rah-rah speech, probably not in the right position or the right profession. Sorry. I'm on the clock right now. I'm drafting.
An update on our draft teams, the happy hour horn. A little college football, and then more on the Jaguars, plus what's going to happen in tonight's game. Oh, we got a lot to get to next on ESPN 690. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. If you've received a letter from the IRS and can't pay them, things can get bad quickly. The IRS can seize your bank account, garnish your wages, and place liens against everything you own. If this is you, contact J. David Tax Law, a local firm right here in Jacksonville. Your first step to stop IRS harassment is a no-cost consultation. They explain exactly your options and how they will resolve your tax issue. Only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you, and fee payment plans are affordable for everyone. Get the protection you deserve. Peace of mind is only a click or phone call away. The fastest way to get started is to call 904-507-4777. 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com. The number again, 904-507-4777. Or online at jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Hey, it's Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo, and you're listening
everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Hey, it's Trey Wingo from Golic and Wingo, and you're listening to ESPN 690.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Raiders wideout Antonio Brown will be suspended by the team.
Raiders general manager Mike Mayock and wide receiver Antonio Brown got into it, had to be separated, heated words, heated exchange. Antonio Brown's been sent home. The team is planning to suspend him.
Adam Schefter on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Schefter reports the Raiders may use the suspension as a way to void the $30 million plus in guaranteed money in Brown's contract. The new NFL season kicks off tonight with the Packers and Bears in Chicago. And as the new season gets going at Caesars Sportsbook, the Kansas City Chiefs are the favorite to win the Super Bowl at 6-1. Second choice, the Patriots at 6.5-1. The Saints are the favorite in the NFC at 8-1. The Bears are 9-1. New Mexico coach Bob Davie will not travel to next week's game at Notre Dame. Davie was hospitalized after a medical incident in the season opener. Baseball finals today. The Reds beat the Phillies 4-3 on a Phillip Ervin walk-off home run in the 11th. Cardinals beat the Giants 10-0.
Brought to you by Little Caesars, where you can get a large extra most bestest stuffed crust pepperoni pizza for only $9 and only at Little Caesars. Plus tax where applicable. Available at participating locations.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Well, the auto drafting of my fantasy football team is about over. Are we almost done yet?
Yeah, I'm making the last pick now, actually. I just see that I'm up again. So,
do you like your team? You're about as stressed out as I've ever seen you.
yeah, I mean, this was not a good idea. This was a horrible idea, especially having the first pick. So I had to pick back-to-back a couple times, and I'm trying to tell stories and monitor what's going on. Because obviously, when I play, Brent, I play to win. So this was stressful to say the least, but now it's over, so I'm okay with it. Overall, I'm pretty happy. How are you sitting? Are you happy right now?
I have no idea what my team looks like. Are you going to share it with me? Well, let's first do the happy hour horn. As we get that ready here on a Thursday, and then we'll all learn at the same time what my team is.
Sure.
I know we have DeAndre Hopkins on my side.
Yep.
And I think I know Michael Thomas.
Yep.
I don't know much more than that, but I know this. Happy Hour Horn is brought to you by Vita de Louis.
Party now begin. See the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace. No. Anything goes. Gangsters are rolling, half face smiling. And so I think of the rhythm what you're drinking. Anything goes. Hey.
Grab a drink, get a shot, and tip your star tenders.
You need some? You might need some.
Oh, man.
Stressful hour.
Just go ahead and set up an IV, please, because, yeah, I need some in the worst way.
Not recommended.
Not at all.
No.
Who's tried it? Vita de Louis recently got a 94 rating. A locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville, made in Tequila, Mexico, shipped directly to Jax Beach. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For locations, recipes, and merchandise, visit VitaDeLouis.com. Drink responsibly, of course. And once again, thanks to Vita de Louis for being a part of our Action Sports Jax Stream 18. That's coming up, a week from Monday, believe it or not. Big shout out to everybody for being a part of it. Pretty much sold out on the golfer side. I could probably sneak in another foursome if we wanted to, but we like to keep it to a manageable amount of teams. So we have a nice day and a quick day out there. It'll be Monday, 9 a.m. at the Golf Club at Southampton, September 16th. Cadillac Dealers, our title sponsor. Thanks again to the Players Championship and law offices of Ron Scholes, the Jacksonville Giants, for our presenting sponsorships and so many others. What I like to do is call it a local sports celebration because the Giants will be out there, the Jaguars, the Shrimp, the Armada, the Icemen. We got everybody, the Sharks, JU, UNF. They'll all be out there. Special thanks to some others, including Top Golf. They'll be out there, and Airstream will be a part of it too. So many people to thank, and we'll do that over the next week or so as we get closer to the Action Sports Jax Stream 18. But looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun, raise a lot of money in our 10th year, raising money for charity in the Action Sports Jax Stream 18. All right. I might need a charitable help from a fantasy football standpoint.
Yes.
How does my team look auto-drafted over the last hour because I could not log on?
Okay. Quarterback, Cam Newton. Running backs, Kerryon Johnson, Aaron Jones.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not excited about that.
You're not excited about that at all. I wouldn't be either.
But I can pick up some garbage type of stuff with Jones, with Green Bay.
Yeah,
especially LaFleur there. Who knows how he's going to do things.
Once again, though, injuries, Brent, he's kind of injury susceptible. We'll see.
And Johnson, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Believe the hype? Lions with a good running back?
I have a hard time believing any hype
Where's
with
Barry
Detroit.
Sanders?
You know?
Yeah, I know.
So, all right, what else do I have? My receivers are good.
You got Hopkins. You got Michael Thomas, Tyler Lockett, and Keenan Allen.
That's pretty good.
That's a pretty legit.
Stay healthy, boys.
Game day. Yep. Tight end. I'm not mad at your tight end either, Brent. Evan Ingram.
Yeah, not bad.
Like that. You have the Eagles
Been
defense.
good with Daniel Jones halfway through the year.
Yep. You got the Eagles defensive special teams and Robbie Gould. Your bench. You got Gordon from the Patriots, Singletary from the Bills, Crowder, Washington. I think it's Ricard, right? Jalen Ricard, or is it Richard? Is it Jalen Richard, the guy from the Raiders?
Jalen Richard?
Oh, Richard. There we go.
Richard.
And then Jared Goff as your backup quarterback.
He's expensive as a backup.
That's a lot of money riding the pine right now for you.
Say Washington, who do I have?
For your defense, the Eagles.
Oh, no, defense. But you said a name, Washington.
Washington. You got James Washington, which is a solid pickup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the 2 or 3 receiver for the Steelers. We'll see with Moncrief.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've got good receivers.
You
I
have
can
good
pick up
receivers.
Josh Gordon, a little bit of a flyer on that.
Good depth, yeah.
And you know who I really like on my team?
What do you got?
The Devin Singletary kid.
Yeah?
I wanted the Jags to scoop him up.
You're all in on this guy, huh?
Yeah, I like him.
Okay.
That's the FAU kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously they had to let go of LaShawn McCoy, so that should probably tell you that
No,
they're
they
a big
like
fan
him a
of
lot. No,
Yeah.
they really like him.
Yeah.
He's got off to a good start. So
Cool.
now it's Buffalo, man. I mean,
No,
who
I hear
knows?
you.
But
Wasn't his whole thing, he had a bad 40, right? That kind of pushed him back a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
that's a good question. I don't know. There's a lot of hype. Obviously we have some FAU folks around here, and I remember seeing his name a lot. And then I looked into him a bit more, and I was like, oh, this guy's intriguing. Like, it would have been a cool landing spot for the Jags. I think he got drafted a bit higher than some people even thought, if I remember correctly. But I think he's going to be good. He's going to be pretty good. Get out of Florida Atlantic. So we'll see. I like my team. Do you like your team?
I like my team a lot. I'll tell you about it later because I'm looking at Devin Singletary. Yeah, he ran a 4.66.
Okay, so it did slow down. It's good. Good
slowed
memory there.
down. Yeah, I try.
You just have all the people that you could potentially beat in the 40 fresh in your mind.
I have them fresh in my brain just to make me feel a little better for my 4.8. I'll call it a 4.84 that I ran. I think it was a 4.89. Hey, regardless, 4.8. That's all it was, right? I'm looking all right, man. I got Jackson as a quarterback. I'm rolling with the Ravens, man. I think the Ravens are going to make some noise this year.
Lamar Jackson is your quarterback, and you like that.
Well, keep in mind, rushing takes place too. And for a backup quarterback, I got Tom Brady, so I'm not too worried about it. I got Saquon.
Quarterback's overrated in these leagues, though, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I wouldn't put too much stock into it.
Which is so weird because fantasy football, it just doesn't match up. Fantasy football and the real deal.
True.
Because quarterbacks are so important.
Yep.
Okay, go on.
Saquon Barkley for my running back, Dalvin Cook for my running back. So I'm rolling running back heavy here.
You want to trade receiver for a running back?
We'll have to see. I might just do that. My wide receivers, they got Boyd from Cincinnati, Stephon Diggs, and Amari Cooper. And I got Will Fuller as my bench. So
talk about staying healthy. Fuller's had a hard time doing that, but I like Cooper and I like Diggs because Diggs they'll have a lot of yards in Minnesota.
Yep. Sorry, Jacksonville, but my tight end is Travis Kelce. And then,
That's a good one.
Then my bench, I got Duke Johnson, Austin Eckler, which I think is going to be the big pickup of the draft. Austin Eckler, Curtis Samuel, Royce Freeman from Denver, because I figured Ryan O'Halloran, we could talk about that a little bit. And I also got Tyrell Williams because of Antonio Brown now.
Yeah.
Tyrell Williams might be the guy. And I got Mark Andrews from Baltimore because I sang his praises a long time ago. So, at the tight end position.
You spent 6 months getting information from every guest that we had on about fantasy football.
Sure did.
Did any of it come to fruition?
So it did in my draft back home. Big time, because I got O.J. Howard when we talked to Jenna Lane. Jenna Lane told me O.J. Howard, so I went with O.J. Howard. But everything else that I've heard, for this draft, absolutely not, because I didn't have time to really
Guess
study.
who has O.J. Howard?
You do.
I have O.J. Howard.
How's your team,
You don't like that.
I actually, in our projections, they have me in second to last.
Good.
Where am I?
Like those projections.
Hold on, let me check.
By the way, don't go by the projections.
No, I
The
know.
projections are absolute crap.
He got so excited about that, and then he's like second to last.
It's over. You might as well just quit right now.
Who got Antonio Brown in our league?
I think Rich took him, but he was auto draft.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
So he drafted him pretty high? Got
Second
stuck
round,
with
I'm pretty
Antonio.
sure.
Poor guy.
That's,
Well, and is it coming down now? Is it official? He's going to be out for?
No, I
not yet?
mean, ESPN still report the Schefter report from earlier in the day where it's expected.
Yeah.
There still hasn't been an announcement unless I'm missing something in the last minute or two. I don't see anything just yet. We'll keep you posted. It could happen before we get off the air at 6 o'clock tonight. So you like your team, Coos?
Yeah, I like my team a lot.
Did you draft it now as we're doing the show?
Yeah, I was trying to, as we were going,
If he's not drafting, he's doing something else, not paying attention. So, of course, he drafted it. Yeah.
I mean, I'm okay with him drafting it. It was the first and last time this thing has ever
What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take a screenshot of all of our teams, and I'm going to put them on our Facebook page, and we can tweet them out and see who's got the best one.
Thank you. We have a lot of competitions going on. We have this that's now begun, and tomorrow we start our celebrity picks.
Oh, I know.
Celebrity pick 6 tomorrow. And I gave you the games, right? You got that email?
Sure didn't, but I'll check it when I get home.
Well, how would you have? You only have 40,000 emails
No,
unchecked.
Brent, don't shortchange me. 42,424 emails and 122 text messages that I haven't checked yet.
42,000. 42,000 emails this guy hasn't checked.
look at those missed calls, too. Look at those missed calls coming in.
83 missed calls.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of those is, say, you won $1 million.
Yeah.
By the way, we're already getting asked, what's the trade situation? How are we handling that in waiver wire situation? So we're going to need some answers from the commissioner here
This
soon.
commissioner's a mess.
Hey,
so.
did you want my answer? Don't worry about it. That's what it's going to be.
I think we got to get the booze. This would be
That's
Gary
my answer to
Bettman-esque
everything. Don't worry about it.
When it comes to this commissioner.
Don't worry about it.
We do it. So tomorrow we are going to our celebrity six-pack. We'll have a celebrity on every week, we hope. And us three, Marcel and Stuart, also get in the game. We're playing with the spread. We're just doing 6 games. It could be any variation of college and pros. Will depend on the week. And we're in 2 games in college this week, and that's the LSU Texas, Texas A&M Clemson.
Interesting.
And then in the NFL, we'll always do the Jags. And so we got the Jags. And I want to say the Falcons, Minnesota was another one of them. And I forget what else I picked. I picked 2 other games.
Okay.
So do your homework.
I'll do my homework.
Celebrity pick 6 tomorrow.
I got it. I like it.
6-pack.
Any chance we can throw a fight in there every once in a while if there's a big fight going on or not? Or we're just doing straight football? Little bonus?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. Not sure if it'll fit on a graphic. We're going to pick the division winners in the NFL next.
More picks, Brett. More stress in my life. That's all I need.
What we want to do is gamble on this show today.
Oh, let's pick division winners next. Can't wait.
Throw your money down on ESPN 690 next.
Action Sports Jacks with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Clearing skies tonight. It'll be mild, dropping to around 70 from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
Hey everybody, this is Brent Martineau. The Greater Jacksonville Area Cadillac Dealers Action Sports Jax Dream 18 is just around the corner. September 16th at the Golf Club at Southampton. Thanks to our presenting sponsors as well, the law offices of Ron Scholes and the Players Championship. Your business can still be a part of the event to raise money for St. Michael's Soldiers and North Florida Junior Golf Foundation. Florida Georgia Windows and Doors is challenging local businesses to donate $1,000. Join the $1,000 charity challenge at actionsportsjaxdream18.com.
Hey, what in the name of Lester Jackson are you doing?
Oh, hey, boss. Well, since these folks are out of town, I figured I had time to make a Sammy.
You what?
Yep, it's a peanut butter banana sandwich, just like Elvis.
Wait, when are the owners of this place getting back?
Well, the social media account says tomorrow around noon, so relax.
Huh. Well, don't leave a mess. That would be rude.
Boss, how is it possible in this day and age that folks like this don't have safe touch security?
Beats me. Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, I mean, from the two-way communicator to the crash and smash technology to video monitoring.
Hey, if these folks had safe touch, we wouldn't be within a mile of this place.
And that's why we live by the Crooks or Us motto. Stay away from safe touch houses.
Yeah. Hey, pass the bread, will you?
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all 3. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Lowe's helps pros like you get the job done right by having more of the supplies you use most in stock every day. Like treated lumber, fencing, and decking in the quantities you need for any size job. And we help you save with deals like $20 off a Metabo HPT 3.5-inch gauge 21-degree pneumatic framing nailer, now just $179. Order ahead at lowesforpros.com and have your order delivered or pick up in store. Our dedicated pro loaders will load you up and get you back to the job site where you're needed most. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offer valid through 9/8, U.S. only.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McNeil from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th with 22 total events and over $1.3 million in guarantees. The $5,000 buy-in Best Bet Bounty Scramble will host 30 of the most acclaimed celebrities from around the world. Knock out any of the celebrity bounties and get $2,500 on the spot. Take part in all the glory and fame at this year's WPT Series. For more information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
What's the fastest way to get behind the wheel of a 2020 Toyota? Toyota Rent-A-Car from my friends over at Arlington Toyota. The 2020 models are now arriving at Arlington Toyota, and Toyota Rent-A-Car is the best way to try it before you buy it. Got a road trip coming up, a long weekend with the girls, or a football getaway maybe? Toyota Rent-A-Car at Arlington Toyota's got you covered with an amazing selection of 2020 Toyotas that are road and rental ready. Everything about renting a Toyota from Arlington Toyota is easy. They've got amazing 2020 models, simple online reservations, and staff that's always eager to help. Gotta tell you, the hardest part's gonna be when it's time to turn your rental back in. These 2020s are sweet. Toyota Rent-A-Car from Arlington Toyota is ready to put you behind the wheel of a 2020 Toyota for your next adventure. Just visit arlingtontoyota.com. That's arlingtontoyota.com and get your online reservation started today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jacks. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
Talking to Chris Long, have you at all had any itch about playing again?
I'm not going to lie. I get the itch from time to time. If I ever got an opportunity that was right for me, and I'd look at it.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m. on ESPN 690.
Hi, I'm Chris Berman, and every time I come back to Jacksonville, I listen and watch Action Sports Jacks.
All right, what you got? Let's try to get some winners. Who's going to the Super Bowl? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? You got a lot going on. You can't handle all this.
I seriously can't, man. This has probably been the most stressful day so far on the radio, but let's do it. Well, could we start with the AFC East and work our way down, and then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, hey, Kuz, when do we vote for, like, impeachment of the commissioner?
Dude, I'll impeach myself. I don't want to do it. Nobody else stepped up, so I figured I had to take over. Because I have the show in mind. I have the best interest of ESPN 690 in mind.
Who else auto-drafted? Rich Jones
You and
me?
Rich.
We're going to the Super Bowl. Both of us.
Cool.
Nick kind of did too.
Yeah, Nick just took every quarterback going. All right, let's go. Ready? Are you writing this down, Kuz?
Yes.
Or do I have to write it down?
I'll write it down.
Are you going to write it down wrong?
Most likely.
All right, let's get, go ahead, AFC. You go rip through it, or you want me to go first?
I said we just go back and forth.
Okay,
so
go
AFC
ahead.
East, obviously I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah, me too.
Not a lot of explanation there. AFC North?
Because don't bet against the Patriots. That's rule number one.
Don't bet against the Patriots. AFC North.
Let's stop you there. Are the Jets or the Bills the team that can compete, that could surprise out of the AFC East? Who do you favor?
I would favor the Jets. I don't think the Bills are established yet with their offense. They have a solid defense, as do the Jets, but I like Le'Veon Bell. I like the weapons that the Jets have as opposed to the Bills, so I'd probably take New York over to Buffalo.
You know, a sneaky storyline that doesn't get talked about because they're the Bills, and it's kind of like giving a nod to the Jags and the Browns and teams like that, and people don't want to, is the Bills made some interesting moves in the offseason.
Yeah.
Moves that, so, wow, okay, you know, and so I'm a little fascinated. I'm fascinated with them. And here's why I wonder about the Bills more so than the Jets, because I'm not sure about Gase in New York.
That's a good point.
And, you know, I like Darnold. I do like him. Obviously, Bell being there. But I don't know if Bell is that much of a difference maker. They have a good, solid defense, too. But I just think Gase to me is very a polarizing guy.
Sure.
And if things go bad in that market, it's a little different than being in Miami. If it goes wrong and your eyes start bugging out in New York, well, your season could end quickly.
Yeah.
So disaster is possible for the New York Jets, even with a pretty talented team.
Listen, I don't know what Le'Veon Bell's going to do in New York. You know, he had the entire year off. One would think that he's 100% healthy now, but people forget what he did in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot of the success of the Pittsburgh Steelers, it came from Antonio Brown and Ben Roethlisberger, but they ran that offense through Le'Veon Bell. So I think if Le'Veon Bell can even be, you know, like a microcosm of who he was in Pittsburgh, they're going to be all right. So that's why I'm taking New York. I mean, I still think Le'Veon Bell's got a lot to give. A lot of people want to disagree with me there, but I'm sticking with it.
I think it's a fair take. But Patriots to win the AFC East. Who do you have in the AFC North?
Tricky. You know,
you're riding this Cleveland train.
No, because so here's the thing. The sexy pick is obviously the Browns. I'm a fan of the Ravens. You know, the Ravens are kind of, I mean, we've been told they've revamped their offense a little bit. It's going to be a little more of a higher powered offense compared to last year. It was basically just, you know, the quarterback options running power the whole time. I like the Ravens a lot, but I'm going with the Browns. And I get it. This is the sexy pick, and everyone's going to, you know, say, oh, hop on the bandwagon. That's fine. But I look at the Browns. I'm convinced of Baker Mayfield. I like his charisma. I love his moxie. I like Odell Beckham Jr. catching the balls. I like Jarvis Landry now, kind of being that slot guy. Usually, if you have a guy in the slot, you don't want to be your number one receiver. You want to be your number 2 or number 3 receiver. You got a good tight end in Njoku. You have a really solid defense, Garrett. I think Olivia Vernon's going to have a resurgence. So I'm taking the Browns.
A lot of talent on the Browns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm not sold on?
Who's that?
It's Freddie Kitchens.
Okay.
As the head coach.
Sure.
I think that's, again, I'm going back. And I do think I got to be a little careful here because I'm not hammering them. I just don't know. Yeah. And I have to be careful I say that because I think we often go to coaching anytime anything goes bad. Mm-hmm. And it's really, at the end of the day, about players. It's a players' league. And players win games and lose games. And I'm a big believer in that. That doesn't mean, I mean, there are some coaches that elevate you and maybe hold you back. But I think it's such an unknown. And with, again, you're talking personalities. You know, with New York, you're talking about a market that can be volatile. Mm-hmm. With the Cleveland Browns, you're talking about personalities that can be volatile. How do you handle adversity? You know, when you lose 2 in a row, if the Browns come out of the gates 1-2 or 2-4, are they rescuing that season or are they going in the tank? Mm-hmm. And I think that's an interesting one to weigh in, and it scares me a lot. And you know where I'm going? We had this conversation yesterday about the Washington Nationals and Philadelphia Phillies. And while the situation is not the same, what happened to the Nationals? The Nationals got rid of one of the best players in baseball.
I see where you're going here.
And they're better.
Yeah.
They're a better team. They might make a run in the postseason. They're playing good baseball.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a lot of sense because Bryce Harper doesn't seem like a bad guy, and Bryce Harper's a good player. But the Phillies, who went and got him and spent all this money for him and had all these expectations with him, are on the outside looking in. They've got a chance, but they're on the outside looking in with a few weeks to go in the season. Well, the Pittsburgh situation is totally different. They didn't have Le'Veon Bell last year anyway. Mm-hmm. Antonio Brown, people can now breathe a sigh of relief. You don't have to worry who you get the football to, whether it's Bell or Brown. Now you can get it to Schuster and anybody else. Smith Schuster and you can do what you want. And you know what? Now it's Ben Roethlisberger's team, not Antonio Bell, not Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown. Yeah. It's Ben Roethlisberger's team. I saw a recent piece on Roethlisberger. I think when they were one of the preseason games, it looks like he's refreshed. Sure. You know, it's this is a guy that wanted to retire a couple years ago. I think he was so tired of the antics and the soap opera of Pittsburgh that he wanted to retire. Well, now he feels pretty good about himself. Out of that division, everybody talking about Baltimore and Cleveland. Don't ignore the Pittsburgh Steelers. I take the Pittsburgh Steelers to win the AFC North.
You know, and I like that pick because they have the solid defense to do it as well. I mean, I think Cam Hayward is, I always talk about Geno Atkins being the most underrated defensive tackle. Cam Hayward's right up there, man. Cam Hayward's the throwback defensive tackle that you want on your team. I mean, the guy eats nails. You know, he's one of those type of players. TJ Watt is a solid guy. You know, you got Tuitt, Hargrave.
Who they draft at linebacker? Who they drafted? Come on, give it to me. You got the depth chart up there?
Yeah. Looking
Who's
right
your
at
linebackers?
We got, how they said it. So, Mark Barron, Devin Bush Jr. is probably going to be that's Devin Bush. They have him. Yeah, he's the starter. Yep. Yeah, Devin Bush. So, yeah, I like the Steelers a lot. Maybe I'll have them for my wild card team.
And I think they feel like it was hard to replace Ryan Shazier.
Yeah.
But I think Devin Bush, I think they have a lot of confidence in. They like that pick a lot. So
the only two question marks I have that team though, Brent, can James Conner repeat what he did, his opening year? And is Smith-Schuster the real deal? I think he benefited from having Antonio Brown line up across from him. Now that team's going to game plan him, call him the game wrecker. Can Smith-Schuster, stand up to it and be that, that one receiver now?
All right, let's roll through the AFC. I got the Jaguars winning the AFC South.
As do I.
Because I think everybody's helped them out. Yep. I do. It's not. I had them at 9-7. I think the luck situation might make them 10-6.
Yeah.
And 10-6 will be enough to win the AFC South.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, from 5 to 10 wins, how do you get there? Luck's given me 1. Foles has given me 2. Mm-hmm. And you cannot get that injured again this year. That's good for 2. That's how I come up with 5 extra wins. I homer up. My sunshine and rainbows up. The hurricane's gone. I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the AFC South.
I'm taking them too as well. I think it comes down to the Texans and the Jaguars. And last week I was saying how it should be a lock for the Jaguars. Well, now the Texans bring in Larry Tunsil. I mean, bringing a left tackle, does that really solidify you as your division champs? I don't think so. I'm still taking the Jaguars.
Wild card teams in the AFC South plus the AFC West and the rest of the NFC. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? We'll tell you next on ESPN 690.
See, very intrigued by the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
How do you feel about the guy like Stugatz who says the phrase in casual parlance, swipes 40 bags for you a season?
Oh, that's what you have to say. What are you talking about? You're the weird one here, Dan.
How else would you say
Put it on the poll. Swipes 40 bags a season. Jerk or no jerk?
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
A healthier you is the first step toward a healthy baby. When planning a pregnancy, baby steps toward better health can deliver big results. Exercising regularly and eating a balanced diet will help you reach or maintain a healthy weight and increase the likelihood of a healthy baby. Taking a multivitamin containing folic acid every day helps prevent birth defects, and regular medical and dental checkups are especially important when planning for pregnancy. To learn more about taking your baby steps toward a healthy pregnancy, call Florida's Family Health Line at 1-800-451-2229.
What happens when your alarm system gets triggered? Let's say you're at work and your house is getting broken into. You want the police called, right? Well, that only happens with a SafeTouch security system. You heard me, right? Yes, the law states that if an alarm is not verified, the alarm contractor must call the key holders before calling the police, giving the crooks plenty of time to clean out your home and have an easy getaway. But the SafeTouch two-way communicator verifies the holdup in just seconds, allowing the SafeTouch operators to dispatch emergency authorities in seconds. Also providing valuable information to the authorities. Customers also receive an instant text verification as well as live video of who's in your home. This video can be transferred to the police, giving them a huge advantage in the war on crime. Don't just think you're safe, know you're safe. Get the SafeTouch Advantage now and receive a free color listen and talk camera and just $5 extra for storage. Get the SafeTouch Advantage now at safetouch.com. License number EF233 with approved credit terms and conditions apply.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Codan is now Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level.
This season, our team will have the best defense in the league. For your home, the best defense is a fence from Armstrong Fence Company. When it comes to home fences, Jacksonville owners trust Armstrong Fence Company. Visit Armstrong-Fence.com. That's Armstrong-Fence.com. Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Get super savings on over 1,000 vehicles on the lot right now at Arlington Toyota. It's the 2020 Super Sales Event going on now at Arlington Toyota. Plus, you'll pay up to 50% less on remaining 2019 Toyotas. You heard right, up to 50% less on remaining pre-owned 2019s. Looking at a 2019 Toyota Camry, it's not $26,000. Now it's only $17,988. That's $17,988 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Camry at Arlington Toyota. Thinking about a 2019 Toyota Corolla? It's not $22,000. No way. Now it's just $13,888. Just $13,888 for a pre-owned 2019 Toyota Corolla at Arlington Toyota. But Arlington gives you even more with their $5,000 Advantage Club. It comes with your purchase, and it's packed with savings, discounts, rewards, and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Shop Arlington Toyota today, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/super savings for offer details.
That's what sleeping with a CPAP sounds like. If you can't use CPAP, imagine pressing a button and it sounding like this. That's sleeping with Inspire. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body with one click of a remote. That's right, just a button. If you have sleep apnea, great sleep awaits at inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire. Sleep apnea innovation. No mask, no hose, just sleep.
Talk to your doctor to see if Inspire is right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Travis Manion Foundation will host the Jacksonville 9/11 Heroes Run 5K race at 6:30 p.m. on September 18th at Seawalk Pavilion. The annual race will unite the community to remember the nearly 3,000 lives lost on 9/11, as well as to honor our veterans, military, and first responders who serve our country and our communities. Registration is now open for participants to run, walk, or ruck. For more information or to register, visit 911heroesrun.org/Jacksonville.
Look at Jerry Jones' face when he said what he said. He looks pissed. He's had this man's back while paying him in excess of $5 to $6 million.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
All right, it's time to make our picks, continue the picks. We've already done it a little bit. For me in the AFC East, it's the New England Patriots. Same goes for Austin. I've got the Steelers in the North. He's got the Ravens. And we both had the Jags in the AFC South. Oh, you had the Browns. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
And we both had the Jags in the AFC South. We homered up for the Jags in the AFC South.
Pumping that sunshine.
Houston, definitely the contender. Tennessee gets no love.
None.
And Indianapolis, what a story it would be if Jacoby Brissett can keep them good.
Yeah.
A lot of people in that locker room and in that city and in that organization believe that can happen. You have to show me that. You have to show me that he was worth the $30 million and everything.
I played against him a couple of times, and I think he's a game manager, but I think in order to be successful in the AFC South, you have to lead your team to win some games, and I'm not saying that he can't do it. I'm just saying that I haven't really seen that yet. So until you prove me wrong, I'm taking the Jags in the AFC South.
All right, AFC West, what do you got?
AFC West, taking the Chiefs. Safe pick, but I think Kansas City's the real deal again. They have too many weapons out to be successful. Their defense is intriguing because you remember, Brent, last year their defense, one of the worst in the NFL.
31st.
I think if they can be serviceable and be like a top 20 defense with that offense, yeah, they'll have no problem winning the AFC West, especially with the Chargers team. Doesn't have Melvin Gordon. Not sure how that's going to shake out yet.
And they don't have Derwin James either. And the Derwin James one, I think, is more of an impact than even the Melvin Gordon, in my opinion, because it could make their defense less dominant. Yeah. I think they're going to be good on offense. They wouldn't be dominant on offense, not like the Chiefs are, or maybe even the Rams you might consider. But I think defensively, they have a chance to be dominant. They have a chance to be the best defense in the league. Without Derwin James, that changes things. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to still take the Chargers to win the AFC West.
Wow.
I think there's a little bit of regression from the Chiefs, and that's not really regression in a bad way. It's more just natural. And I already gave you the schedule of the Chiefs earlier. Schedule's not easy. Difficult. They've got some tough games. And I think it's very important. I think Phillip Rivers realizes this year too. They have got to go get home field advantage. They went out to New England, lost the game. If you have to go to Kansas City, you're going to lose the game. You have to get home field advantage. So I think for the Chargers, it's ultra important for them to, this regular season, they have to put more emphasis early on in the regular season and win these games. And I think it might be Phillip Rivers' time. We saw Drew Brees late in his career be able to do what he did last year. Some of these old guys, it might be Phillip Rivers' chance now.
The one thing that knocks the Chargers, though, zero home field advantage.
They do.
Playing in that stadium with, 20,000, 30,000 people?
That's true, but
doesn't
they do
really
have
give you...
a built-in home field advantage just from being in the West.
No,
Teams
that's true.
don't like going out West.
Yeah.
So
look at the Jaguars. They have not performed well out West. So
no.
I see
Even when teams are bad or crowds aren't great, it's a tough thing to do sometimes and go out West.
Do you want to knock out the wild card teams from the AFC? So
what do you got?
We're picking 2 of them. So go ahead and give me the Steelers, and I'm taking the Chargers.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I take the Chiefs.
Okay.
And I take the Baltimore Ravens.
Baltimore Ravens,
So I keep the Cleveland Browns out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge Lamar Jackson fan here, but I think they're so solid everywhere else, and I like what Baltimore has created that I think they're going to win a good amount of football games and sneak in. It's going to be a massive pileup for that last wild card spot, I think, in the AFC.
I think, and listen, I told you I'm a Baltimore fan. I didn't take him to go to the wild card, though, unfortunately. The biggest question with Baltimore is their linebacking core, because you're so used to seeing the Baltimore Ravens be a dominant linebacking core in the NFL, some of the best. And now you have a bunch of young guys, you have a bunch of servicemen in there. Can that defense rebound and still be dominant like they have been for the past decade, it seems like? So,
okay, let's go to the NFC. I'll lead you off, okay?
Hit me with it.
I'm not going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East.
Okay. We're going to have a little discrepancy here. I'm taking the Eagles.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
All right. NFC North, we start the game tonight with Chicago and Green Bay. I think there's so much love for Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think it's false bravado when it comes to the Packers. I wouldn't buy into it. The Lions are the Lions. I think Chicago. You know what I think the problem with Chicago is?
What's that?
I think they're stuck on this kicker stuff. I think the Chicago Bears might become Bartman and the Cubs. Billy Goat and the Cubs.
Yeah,
they really might.
Yeah.
No, I'm not kidding
Curse.
you.
Okay.
Go look at the articles about the kickers, man.
Yeah.
There's way too much focus on the kickers. Like, they have such a self-conscious about what happened last year and can't let it go that it's actually infiltrated this year. And I think some of that stuff will leak. If they miss a kick, if Eddie Pinheiro, the former Gator kicker, misses a kick tonight, it will start this domino effect that will just be like mentally hard to overcome at times. And it might eat them up in the postseason as well. I don't like Chicago for that reason. I actually like the Minnesota Vikings this year to win the AFC North.
Okay. I'm also taking the Vikings, but I do like the Bears a lot. So here's the thing with the Bears, though. Obviously, last year, solid defense. Vic Fangio kind of established a dominant defense. You bring Chuck Pagano in. And if you know anything about Chuck Pagano's philosophy, it's a little different than Vic Fangio's. I played with Vic before, right? I know what he runs. He doesn't like to do a lot of blitzing. He was a big believer in you just put the guys in the positions, don't make them think that much, and they'll respond well. Well, Chicago had a lot of success last year at defense. You bring in Pagano now, who lives and dies by the blitz packages and things like that. So you might see a little more blitzing from the Chicago Bears. I'm curious to see if that kind of affects their defense at all in a negative way, but I'm taking the Vikings. They have a solid defense. They have weapons on offense. I like the Vikings a lot.
I think this is the hardest division to pick in the NFL.
The South or the North?
The NFC South.
The South, really?
I think it's really
I think it's easy.
Do you? You just go with the Saints
I'm
all
going
day.
with the Saints all day. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's as easy as that.
Okay.
I think the Falcons have a real chance.
Yeah.
Heck, I wouldn't eliminate the Panthers. And I like Bruce Arians and trying to fix Jameis Winston to the point where I think they'll be better than people think they'll be. So I think it's a tough division and going to really make the neighbors not too happy with me. But I'm going to actually take the Falcons to win the NFC South.
Okay.
And a little surprise pick.
Yeah, and I'm taking the high-powered offense of the Saints. I think they have an underrated defense. They're a little susceptible, especially at that back end with like Eli Apple playing the second corner. But I think with that high-powered offense, Drew Brees, Peyton calling the plays, man, I think it's the Saints to win for sure.
All right, and in the NFC West, is it a slam dunk for the Rams, or is it Seattle? Or how about a team nobody's talking about that I like more than people want to give credit for?
You've been mentioning them for a while.
49ers.
Yeah.
I just don't think they bump off the Rams. I think the Rams are so invested. I'm not talking about Goff in the QB position. But if you look at their defense isn't talked about enough. They've got a lot of playmakers. They've got a lot of money invested over there. And then they know what they're doing on offense. The league might catch up a little bit, but they know what they're doing. And I think coming off the Super Bowl, they have a chip on their shoulder. I don't predict them in the Super Bowl this year, but I do predict them to take the NFC West.
I'm taking it too. Obviously, the other pick would probably be the Seahawks. They lose Doug Baldwin now. It's weird. The Seahawks are always the team that you look at who they have on offense, doesn't really knock your socks off, but Russ Wilson always finds a way to win the division or at least get a wild card spot. I don't see it happening this year, though. I have the Rams all day.
So then it's the tough part, is the wild card.
I know.
In the NFC, depending on who you picked here. Well, I'm going to take the Saints to get a wild card spot.
Yep.
And I'm going to take, somewhat reluctantly, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're just too much talent there. Although I don't love that pick of mine. I mean, you have Chicago that could get in. I think a Seattle or a San Fran could make a run and get in. I think we give a little too much credit to Philadelphia. But because I took a chance with Atlanta to win the NFC South, I got to back it up with a little more of a sure thing. I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles.
So I like that pick, by the way, because I think the Eagles, Brent, like, we forget how good Carson Wentz is too, right? When he's healthy. Now, staying healthy is the big thing.
Doesn't have Foles backing him up anymore.
No, and I understand that. But if he's healthy throughout the whole season, like they expect him to be, yeah, I think the Eagles are going to be a good team because they have the defense in Schwartz that's bringing to the table too to back it up. So I like the Eagles, and I picked them to win the division. My wild card teams, I'm taking the Cowboys. And I'm taking the Bears. It came down between the Bears and the Falcons. I was super close on this. I think Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, I think they have a great connection this year, but the Bears defense sticks out to me. I don't think Chuck Pagano is going to ruin it too much, so I'm taking the Bears.
I hated, by the way, I leave out Chicago. I leave out Seattle or San Fran. I'm telling you, keep an eye on San Fran.
You've been campaigning this for a while.
Now they lose the running back. They've just been snake bitten a little bit, so I don't want to buy into them. And then in the AFC, I'm not really mad at leaving out a lot. I think the Browns are going to disappoint and not get in the postseason. I really do. I believe
Vegas has them at 9.5 right now games.
Yeah, and listen,
over-under.
They've got a lot of talent. I just don't know if they're ready. We learned that around here. You got to be careful about that, and I don't think so. AFC South is so hard to predict. We homered up and took the Jags, and then even in the West, I mean, we got the Chiefs and the Chargers. So I think the NFC is harder. I feel less confident leaving out some of the teams in the NFC, like Chicago, like Seattle, maybe even a San Fran slipping in there.
Sure.
And when we don't really go too far under the rate, like who's the underdog that we're picking to do much? The Jags? The Falcons, I picked to win the NFC South. We know this happens. Why are we afraid to do it?
Yeah.
We know what happens. There are like 6 teams that made the postseason last year that will not this year, yet we're afraid to kind of pull the trigger.
We are. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And look at my picks right now, and I mean, the only one I could come down off of is a little bit is replacing the Browns with the Ravens. But I think Cleveland's the big one, Brent. All right, everyone's on the Cleveland bandwagon, and I get that. I just think that they're too talented and too successful not to fail. I mean, and it reminds me of back when the Eagles had like their big lineup. I forgot what they called that defense. Remember when the Eagles spent all that money on defense? They had like that secondary and everything like that, and everyone's picking the Eagles to go to Super Bowl. Well, what happened? I think they won like 4 or 5 games that year. It was an absolute blunder of a season for the Eagles. I don't see that happening in Cleveland. I think there's too many leaders in place. I think there's too many good guys in that locker room. I think Baker Mayfield, if he can back up what he's been acting like, I think he's going to be a great quarterback. So from that, I'm taking the Browns, man.
I do think there are 2 underdog teams I'd probably keep my eye on that most people wouldn't put in the postseason. San Francisco for me in the NFC, and Buffalo in the AFC.
Buffalo, okay.
Yeah, keep an eye.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it. I wouldn't be shocked to see those teams get in. Put them down as my underdogs, okay, Coos? I want Buffalo as a little asterisk, and I want San Francisco as a little asterisk. I want a little credit if they get in the postseason. Just a little.
Do I have to pick 2 then? Real quick 2 as well?
Ahead.
The underdogs?
Give us the underdogs. Come on.
Underdogs, then. Go ahead and give me. I think Baltimore's an underdog. Hate to tell you.
With Lamar Jackson?
Yeah. So give me Baltimore.
I got him in the playoffs.
And give me the New York Jets. Underdog.
So you didn't really give him one from the NFC.
Oh, so we're doing 1-1? Sorry. So give me forget the Ravens then. The Jets, and give me, I guess, the Falcons, but they're not really an underdog. But Falcons.
Could be the Packers.
Packers are a good one,
You could play the Packers as an underdog.
Which is kind of crazy to think about.
But I don't really think they're making the postseason.
Much to the chagrin of everyone listening back home right now. I'm about to get a lot of text messages.
Yeah, you probably are. You forgot all about the Packers.
Yeah, you know what? Packers are Super Bowl. There we go. Sorry, everybody back home.
Our Super Bowl picks, the latest on Antonio Brown, then a little Stay in Your Lane next on ESPN 690. Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. You hear us daily on ESPN 690 from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. Make sure to catch Action Sports Jacks primetime every Saturday and Sunday all year long. 10:30 on Fox 30 and 11:30 on CBS 47. Action Sports Jacks primetime on Saturdays and Sundays the entire year. And always make sure to tune in from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. with Austin Lane and me on ESPN 690.
So your team scores. Suddenly you're best friends with perfect strangers. Tullamore Dew calls these friendships fanships. When the game is on, order a Tullamore Dew, the original triple-blended smooth-sipping Irish whiskey for the person next to you. This game day, grab a Tully and strike up a fanship at...
Find Tullamore Dew in Jacksonville at Mellow Mushroom Jack's Beach, Mellow Mushroom Avondale, and Mellow Mushroom Southside.
When it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume, 80 proof, 2019, imported by William Grant & Sons, Inc.
Hey, everybody, this is Brent Martineau. Family, food, and football. Renna's Pizza checks the box on all three. Family owned in Jacksonville for more than 40 years. Fresh ingredients every day. And your home for football all fall. Watch the games and dine in at Renna's 5 locations. Or let Renna's help with your football get-together. A menu to satisfy the entire family's appetite. There's a Renna's Pizza near you. Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach. Family, food, and football at Renna's Pizza.
What's up, North Florida poker fans? This is Allie McDeal from both Best Bet Card Rooms in Jacksonville and Orange Park. The World Poker Tour returns to Jacksonville September 27th, and there's no better time to lock up your seat in the main event than right now. You will find satellites into the $5,000 buy-in main event for as little as $120. Satellites are going on now. Get ready to take your shot at $1 million prize pool in the WPT main event. For more detailed information, visit them on the web at bestbetjacks.com. Best Bet, where anybody can win.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777. Peace of mind only a click or phone call away, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
Say hello to your new secret advertising weapon, your own branded mobile phone number. StarStar Mobile provisions vanity mobile numbers prefixed by ***, providing audiences an easy way to reach your business. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile. When prospective customers see your offline or online ad and they dial your branded *** Mobile number, *** Mobile helps to convert them through text, voice, and online communications. Give it a try now by dialing *** Mobile from your mobile phone. That's *** Mobile.
Is today the day it'll finally stop raining?
We sure hope so, but it's been a very wet summer so far. This is Mike with Big Fish Roofing. Don't forget, your roof is the first line of defense against the elements. Here at Big Fish Roofing, as an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor, we are locally owned and we drive our business with quality and integrity. We do not require any down payments until your roof project is complete. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing. We are the roofers you can trust. We are Big Fish Roofing.
The New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. The rivalry continues this weekend. Saturday at 3:30 Eastern and Sunday at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app. Presented by Indeed.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and in the iHeartRadio app.
All right, let's roll through this as quick as we can. We both have the Patriots winning the AFC East. I have the Steelers. You have the Browns, Austin Lane. We both have the Jags in the AFC South. Homer up, baby! AFC West. I've got the Chargers winning. You have the Chiefs. Wild card teams. You have the Chargers and you have the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Correct.
I have the Baltimore Ravens and the Chiefs as my wild card team. In the NFC, I've got the Dallas Cowboys winning the East. You have the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles as my wild card team. You have the Cowboys. So 2 teams each, just in a different way. Yeah. You have Chicago winning the NFC North. We both have Minnesota winning the NFC North.
We do.
You have Chicago going as a wild card.
Wild card team, correct.
I have New Orleans going as a wild card and Atlanta winning the NFC South.
Yeah.
And then we both have the Rams in the NFC West.
Correct.
So there we go. Okay, no, we're not going to go round by round, all that kind of stuff. Let's just go Super Bowl. What do you got in Miami on Fox 30? I believe it's on Fox 30. Yes, it is on Fox 30 in February. We'll be there once again. We'll be celebrating like a year of the show by then.
Yes, sir.
What kind of celebration are we doing? I'm sure they're rolling out all the big bucks for that one.
Let's go to Miami, hang out with Pitbull a little bit, man. Maybe J-Lo will be down there, too.
Vita De Louis, yeah.
Vita De Louis, too. Yeah.
Can't wait. Okay, Super Bowl.
Yes.
Who's in it? Who's winning it?
Super Bowl. It's going to be the Patriots.
Oh, come on. Really?
Brent, it's going to be the Patriots. Taking on the Saints. Go ahead and boo me. I don't care. All right. But the numbers speak for themselves. Here's how I think it's going to shake out.
I told you last year, don't ever pick the Patriots to win the Super Bowl again.
That's why I picked them, just to try to prove you wrong a little bit. No, here's my philosophy, though, Brent. They play in the AFC East where I don't think any team's going to be able to match them up. I think they get easy wins in the AFC East. Hence, they get the home field advantage to the entire NFL playoffs. They have the advantage there at home field. They go to the Super Bowl, taking on the Saints. And I think the New Orleans Saints win the Super Bowl.
How about that? The neighbors would be happy. They'd be more than ringing the bell.
Okay.
That's a little Mississippi State, New Orleans Saints.
I'll just go ahead and flick it there. I flicked
there we
it
go.
once.
A little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little tease.
Well, maybe the fix would be in if the Saints somehow get a break on a call.
That's what I'm saying, man. I'm not saying there's any conspiracy theories going on, but storytelling, Brent. It's what we're all about here.
All right. There have been quarterbacks that I wouldn't necessarily think are elite quarterbacks that have taken their teams to the Super Bowl.
Are we going
deep into the postseason?
Are we going to Jacksonville right now?
No.
Oh.
That guy's won a Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, but I thought okay. Sorry.
We've seen Blake Bortles, who nobody considers an elite quarterback, take him deep to the AFC Championship.
I'll give it to you.
I don't believe, and I think I'm not in the minority here. I don't think Goff is an elite quarterback. I really don't. But he helped his team get there, and good player.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to say, hey, he's going to carry him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going with that theory in the NFC.
Okay.
Because I don't think Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback. But I think this could be the year for Jerry Jones.
Okay.
All the garbage, all the stuff. Over the years, the last 2 decades, Dallas has not done well. Mm-hmm. Yet I feel like he's put together one heck of a football team, really. You look at some of the players they have on defense. Mm-hmm. You look at some of the players, that offensive line, Zeke. Dak Prescott can do enough stuff. He's proven that. Even though, again, I had my question marks. Mm-hmm. Amari Cooper, they like was it Gallup, the receiver?
Gallup, yeah.
Witten's back. I mean, I'm not as high on the rest of their receiving core outside of Amari Cooper.
Great offensive line, too. You have to mention offensive line.
Well, that's where it's at. If you have a good offensive line, you got a chance.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. After all the soap opera stuff with Zeke, and how much will they pay Dak after he leads them to a Super Bowl appearance? Not a win.
Uh-oh. And it's not the Patriots either.
I'm picking the LA Chargers.
Wow.
And Phillip Rivers to get a ring. The feel-good story around the NFL. Phillip Rivers gets it done. Derwin James comes back at some point late in the year.
Yep.
They can hold off enough until the postseason. He comes back. He contributes. He makes that defense even better than he is. It is. But Phillip Rivers really carries the mantle and wins the Super Bowl for the first time. The LA Chargers, with 28,000 people in their stadium, will win the Super Bowl in 2020 in February in Miami.
2 questions for you about your prediction of the LA Chargers. Does Melvin Gordon come back?
I do think Gordon will be back at some point this year. It's a really tough one, but I don't think it's beneficial for him to sit out like Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
I don't. I think Bell was a different animal in that sense.
Different scenarios.
I don't think I would take that task if I was him.
Yep.
And I do think he comes back at some point.
Okay. Does Phillip Rivers win the MVP?
I would have to say.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Let's just go bank on that.
Okay.
Right now.
Fair enough.
We got to do Stay in Your Lane real quick, and then we'll get a last update on Antonio Brown, how we started the show.
Yeah.
What's going on? Is he going to get suspended? What's the latest? But first, Stay in Your Lane.
Stay in your lane real quick, Brent. Oh, yep. Not real quick. But you know how I feel about it. If an NFL player does something cool, I'm going to talk about it, especially an NFL player in our home city of Jacksonville. Calais Campbell has took it upon himself that he's going to pledge to a few charities throughout each month. And basically how it works is for every win that the Jaguars have, it's going to be $1,000. For every tackle for loss, $2,000, $5,000 for each sack, and $10,000 for each turnover/block kick. The charity cap will be at $20,000 per month. The charities being involved are the Clara White Mission, Wounded Warrior Project, the United Way, that targets mental health awareness, and I don't think I missed any. I want to make sure I got them all there. Oh, and I'm sorry, and feeding Northeast Florida, which will be in September, so that'll be the first one.
Very good. Billy
Food
Horschel's
bank.
heavily involved in that, too, and really good organizations. Listen, Calais Campbell, one of the best to ever do it in a Jags uniform, on and off the field. He'll join us every Thursday on Jaguars All Access, except for tonight because their schedule got changed around. We'll have Rasheed Mathis out there. I'm headed there in just a few minutes to Mellow Mushroom at Avondale. Hope you can join us 7 o'clock on Fox 30 if you can't make it out.
Oh, thank you, Kuz. The music,
Kuz. What
music
was
was just a
that?
little distracting.
Sheesh, that
it's all
was
good.
crazy.
Listen, Brent, real quick.
That doesn't feed your headache nice, Kuz.
So listen, I don't claim to be a know-it-all father, but one of the life lessons that I'm teaching my son is that you got to start what you finish. And sometimes things don't go your way, but that's okay. It's about how you respond to them, right? Well, the Tennessee Vols right now are having kind of a problem on their team where Jeremy Pruitt has announced that Terrell Bailey and wide receiver Jordan Murphy have now left the football program after that loss to Georgia State. And on top of that, too, King Murph, who's a player, I want to say he is a corner from Tennessee. He goes by King Murph. Basically, he was on Twitter making fun of the loss, retweeting some things that people said that were funny about Georgia State. And now he's on Twitter, making fun of himself, basically, and his team, his performance. Listen, no. Okay, you can't lose to Georgia State at your own house and then expect to be cool with that. You can't just walk away from something that happened, and you can't try to make fun of what happened, all right? You guys got embarrassed in front of your home crowd to a team that had no business being there. You paid a school $1 million to come whoop your butts, and now you want to go on Twitter and make fun of yourselves about it? No, that's not what we do.
Finish it off, man. You commit.
Yeah.
Make the commitment.
Exactly.
Right? Even through the tough times.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, last thing real quick. Antonio Brown, it's been the big talker of the day. We started the show really the first half hour. You can always go back and listen to that Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 podcast or on any of the video platforms. You can check out the entire show. But Antonio Brown, it's still reported by Adam Schefter and ESPN that he'll be suspended. Yeah. Now, there's no official announcement from the Raiders just yet, so expect that maybe tonight we can catch you up on the TV side on CBS 47 and Fox 30. But this run-in with Mike Mayock, no comment from John Gruden, and the Antonio Brown situation's a mess. We'll follow it along. Tomorrow we'll have our first ever celebrity six-pack. We'll do some picks as well for the games this weekend. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you out at Mellow Mushroom in Avondale. Jaguars All Access, 7 o'clock on Fox 30 tonight. Rasheed Mathis, our guest. So we'll see you on the TV side, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Thanks for hanging with us, everybody. Shoelace is a dolphin. How about that? Denora Robinson joins us on Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Hey, man, this is pretty cool news.
But it's exciting just to be back around football again. So,
Action Sports Jacks